Chapter 2036. However, Lin Yi was very puzzled. How did Han Jingjing do it? Jingjing doesn't know either. Jingjing thought it was still a bit slow. Han Jingjing said, Jingjing, how did you do it? From what I know, the mantra I gave you to condense the fire requires at least 3 minutes to condense the fire, right? How did you do it in 20 seconds? Lin Yi was full of doubts. That's because Jingjing modified the mantra for congealing the core fire. Han Jingjing said, it did take 3 minutes before, but Jingjing thought it was too slow. I was afraid that when I demonstrated it to Big Brother Lin Yi, Big Brother would get impatient or think that Jingjing was too stupid and ignore me in the future. So Jingjing changed the mantra for condensing the fire. This thing can be changed? Lin Yi felt like he was about to explode. His endurance was reaching its limit. Yes. Han Jingjing nodded matter-of-factly. Then she quickly opened the tablet and pulled up a picture. It was a meridian diagram of the human body. After enlarging it, she explained to Lin Yi, Big Brother Lin, look, the mantra for condensing the fire was like this. It guided the true qi in the body through this main meridian, and then through this meridian to the qi-hai acupoint. But according to Jingjing's judgment, if the true qi didn't go this way, but this meridian, and split into 3 small streams of true qi, passing through a few small meridians near the main meridian, and then to this meridian before finally returning to the qi-hai acupoint, then the speed would be much faster. Although the cross-section of these small meridians is small, their length is shorter than the main meridian. Also, the true qi is split into 3 streams, passing through 3 small meridians. This way, the time is even shorter. Finally, the true qi will gather in this meridian and reach the qi-hai acupoint, saving some time. Similarly, the other meridians are the same. After listening to Han Jingjing's explanation, Lin Yi was so shocked that his eyeballs almost popped out. This works too? This Han Jingjing was really scientific in alchemy. She could even think of this method. It could simply be described as shocking. Jingjing, you're amazing. Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing's tablet and was speechless for a long time. After a while, he came back to his senses and spat out these words. Really? Big Brother Lin Yi, you're the best. Jingjing also feels very awesome after being praised by you. Han Jingjing tilted her head, and the corners of her mouth curled up into a beautiful arc. 2 dimples appeared on her beautiful and fair face. She was obviously very happy. Lin Yi took a deep breath and nodded. Jingjing, you really are a genius. Hee. Actually, my family always praises me, but I don't know if they're really praising me or just spoiling me. But Lin Yi Big Bro's words definitely won't be false. Han Jingjing said happily. Actually, in Jingjing's eyes, this refinement fire condensing chant is a bit complicated. Some of the steps can be skipped, but Jingjing doesn't have the time to analyze and test them one by one. Right now, Jingjing is just shortening some of the qi's path. After hearing Han Jingjing's words, Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. The one he had in his hand was Zhang Liju's refinement fire condensing arts, but it wasn't as complicated as Boss Bai's. It was probably what Han Jingjing had said, removing some useless steps. If he gave that refinement fire condensing arts to Han Jingjing, who knew what kind of shocking things this genius girl could create. But Lin Yi temporarily suppressed that idea. After all, shortening the condensing time didn't have much use for real elixir refinement, unless it was a competition with a fixed time or in some emergency situation. The rest was just showing off in front of other refiners. Other than that, the condensing time of the refinement fire really didn't have any other uses. That was all Lin Yi could think of. Jingjing, other than condensing the refinement fire, can you also change the intensity and temperature of the refinement fire? Lin Yi asked. I can. Han Jingjing's reply made Lin Yi's heart tighten again. If it weren't for Lin Yi's strong will, he would have been beaten black and blue by now. I can? Then show me. Lin Yi said, Okay. Han Jingjing nodded and put down the tablet. She reached out her right hand again, and very quickly the refinement fire appeared again. But this time, after the refinement fire appeared, Han Jingjing began to control it, making it grow stronger and stronger. Hiss! Lin Yi took in a cold breath as he looked at Han Jingjing's right hand. He wanted to cut it off and put it on his own. Lin Yi was also a dabbler refiner, and naturally, he could clearly feel the fire growing stronger and stronger. What shocked Lin Yi wasn't just that Han Jingjing could change the intensity of the fire, but the precision of Han Jingjing's control. The fire was changing bit by bit, becoming stronger and stronger, and not that kind of big and small. This meant that Han Jingjing could already change the intensity of the fire as she pleased. As expected, the refinement fire on Han Jingjing's right hand gradually became smaller and smaller, smaller and smaller, until it was so weak that it was about to be extinguished, but it didn't go out. It was obvious that Han Jingjing's control was more precise. What about the temperature? Lin Yi took a deep breath and continued to ask. It can also... At this moment, Han Jingjing's forehead had formed a thin layer of sweat. Obviously, controlling the refinement fire consumed a lot of physical strength. As soon as Han Jingjing's voice fell, Lin Yi suddenly felt that the refinement fire in Han Jingjing's hand quickly became hot, and the temperature of the whole room was raised at this moment. Good. Lin Yi couldn't help but cheer. This Han Jingjing really surprised him. She was actually so talented in the art of alchemy. Brother Lin Yi, Jingjing can't hold it anymore. Jingjing can't hold it anymore. Just after Lin Yi cheered, Han Jingjing's breathing became rapid, and she said weakly, in the end, her voice turned into a moan. Lin Yi suddenly had black lines on his head. He naturally knew what Han Jingjing meant. Alchemy was a matter that consumed a lot of physical strength, and controlling the refinement fire out of thin air was the same. Han Jingjing was only an alchemist with the strength of the early stage of the golden class. It was already not bad for her to be able to hold on for so long. So, at this time, it was normal that she couldn't hold on anymore. After Han Jingjing finished this sentence, she put away the refinement fire on her right hand and fell on Lin Yi's bed, as if she was very weak and couldn't speak anymore, and the sweat on her forehead instantly rolled onto Lin Yi's bed, making it wet. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2037. Although the refiner could condense the fire, the point of elixir making was to do it in one go. There couldn't be any interruption in the middle. It wasn't possible to stop halfway, rest, recover for a few days, and then continue. That was impossible. As long as one stopped halfway, the elixir would basically be useless, and there was no way to divide the elixir into multiple batches. Looking at Han Jingjing, who was lying on the bed with a red face, Lin Yi sweated in his heart. This was too easy to misunderstand. Outside the room, Detective Shu 007 widened his eyes and said to Meng Yao in disbelief, "Yao Yao sis, shield bro, and that Han Jingjing seem to be together." Meng Yao naturally heard Han Jingjing's voice. In fact, when Lin Yi and Han Jingjing entered the room, Meng Yao and Yushu didn't even dare to turn on the TV, so they didn't dare to disturb them. Thus, in the quiet villa, the sound became very clear, and they could vaguely hear the conversation in Lin Yi's room. However, although it was full of ambiguity, Meng Yao still trusted Lin Yi's character. So she said, "Shu, don't talk nonsense. It's not what you think." "But it seems like it," Yushu said. With Detective Shu's judgment, something must have happened inside. Although Meng Yao didn't think that Lin Yi was that kind of person, doing something dirty with Han Jingjing in the room, but Shu's words made her curious, and she wanted to go into the room to see what was going on. However, before Yushu knocked on the door, Lin Yi opened it first and saw Shu standing at the door. He was surprised. "Shu, why are you here?" "Ugh, I heard from Han Jingjing that she couldn't hold on much longer. I was worried about her, so I came to check." Yushu said, "Are you just worried about her?" Lin Yi looked at Xiao Shu, who was trying to see the situation in the room, and asked with a faint smile, yeah. Yushu naturally wouldn't admit that she was here to catch them in the act. Go in then. Look at how anxious you are, Lin Yi said with a smile as he stepped aside, letting Yushu in. Sniff, sniff. Yushu sniffed the air, trying to sniff the room for something special. She couldn't smell anything at all, only to be disappointed. Yushu's eyes moved to the bed in the room, and her heart skipped a beat when she saw Han Jingjing lying on the bed. She frowned when she saw the clothes Han Jingjing was wearing. Was it really nothing, or were they fast enough to get dressed already? Yushu walked up to the bed and saw the puddle of water on it. Holy shit, Shield Bro, did Han Jingjing do this? Yushu said, shocked. Yeah. Linny nodded, not thinking much of it. Yushu, on the other hand, was different. She'd read about it in books before, and she thought that Han Jingjing knew how to do it. Yushu sniffed the puddle of water on the bed with the spirit of research and asked curiously, there doesn't seem to be any smell. That's Jingjing's sweat. What smell could there be? Lin Yi sweated. What was Yushu thinking? She's sweating. Yushu realized that she was thinking too much, but said, why is she sweating so much? Did she catch a cold and Shield Bro cured her? Is that why she's sweating so much? Condensing alchemy is tiring. Linny looked at Yushu and smiled. Shu, you're not thinking about something unhealthy again, are you? No, I'm just here to comfort Han Jingjing on behalf of Yao Yao Sis. She knows alchemy, so naturally she'll be very useful to Shield Bro in the future. Yao Yao Sis, and I don't want anything to happen to her. Yushu said confidently. Really? Lin Yi asked. Of course. Yushu nodded. All right, let her rest for a while. Let's not disturb her, Lin Yi said. Han Jingjing was too tired, so she fell asleep on the bed. Lin Yi didn't want to disturb her. Originally, Lin Yi wanted to use the art of dragon mastery to help her recover her strength, but since she fell asleep, he'd wait until she woke up. At this point, Lin Yi didn't want to hide anything from Han Jingjing anymore. Lin Yi also planned to let Han Jingjing study the refinement art he got from Zhang Liju's tomb. This genius girl didn't hold back at all, telling him such a powerful research result. If Lin Yi kept it a secret, then it wouldn't be right. And he could tell that Han Jingjing didn't have any bad intentions towards Lin Yi. On the contrary, she seemed to rely on him. She didn't tell anyone else about good things, but only him. As a result, Lin Yi had quite a good impression of Han Jingjing. And Yushu didn't find anything and couldn't help but feel disappointed. She left the room and saw Menyao's questioning gaze. Yushu shook her head. Mengyao smiled at Yushu's expression. She had guessed that there was nothing going on between Han Jingjing and Lin Yi, and it turned out to be the case. Sitting on the sofa with Yushu, Lin Yi took out the round bead he got from the Tiger Lion Garden and started studying it. This thing was very odd. It looked like calcification, and it was round in shape, but it didn't have much luster. It was a bit dark, but within the bead, Lin Yi could clearly feel that there was a very high level of energy. However, this energy was different from normal spiritual qi. It was more like some kind of pure qi was injected into it, and he didn't know what it was for. Lin Yi's instincts told him that this was most likely a good one, but even if it was a good thing, Lin Yi didn't know what it was. He could only take a picture with his phone and send it to Old Lin. Old Lin was very knowledgeable, and he might know what it was and what it was for. When he sent the email, he told Old Lin about the origin of this thing, as well as the fact that there was energy within it. But to Lin Yi's disappointment, Old Lin's reply came very quickly. Old Lin's answer was that he didn't know, and he'd never seen or heard of it before. How is it? Yushu was a little anxious as well, wanting to know what it was. Nothing much. The old man doesn't know either. Lin Yi shook his head. Looks like this thing really isn't common. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2038. That's true. I'll send another message to Falbert. and ask. Lin E heard Meow's suggestion and felt that it was doable. He sent another message to Falbert. This time, Uncle Fu didn't reply. Instead, he called him back. Falbert! Lin E picked up the phone. This thing you sent me, I think I remember it. There was something similar in the sex treasury, but there were too many things in there, and I didn't pay much attention to the things that weren't useful to my training. Falbert hesitated and said embarrassedly, I didn't have to worry about anything in the sect. The only thing I had to do was train. Oh, there's something like this? Lin E was surprised. If Falbert had something like this in the sex treasury, then it shouldn't be trash. Yes, if my master was here, he might recognize it, but Falbert said, I really don't remember what it is. Forget it, it's fine. Since you don't remember it, there's no need to worry. Lin E didn't dwell on the problem. Falbert, you go ahead. I'll look into it myself. Okay. I'm really sorry. I couldn't help much. Falbert had always been grateful to Lin E, and he always wanted to help Lin E, especially when Lin E not only helped him, but also Grandma Sunday Falbert couldn't thank him enough, but Lin E didn't have anything to trouble him with. This one time he couldn't help him, it's all right. Lin E smiled. After hanging up the phone, Lin E continued to fiddle with the bead in his hand. Since Han Jingjing had not woken up yet, Lin E had nothing to do now, so he naturally continued to study this treasure. That lion has been with Sky Thunder Pig and General Weiwu for so long, his eyes shouldn't be that bad. Xiao Shu mumbled, looks like this is a good treasure, but I don't know how to use it. Thunder Pig? Lin Yi's eyes lit up. At the mention of the Skybolt Pig, Lin E thought of a way to test whether or not it was a good thing. Little Shu, go get the Skybolt Pig. Lin E said, Oh, Lightning Pig? Yushu blinked but got up and walked out the villa's back door anyways. Not long after, she was back with the pig in her arms. Skybolt Pig, take a look and see if this is a treasure, Lin E said as he placed the bead on the floor in front of Skybolt Pig. Skybolt Pig's ability to identify treasures was extraordinary. This guy was very good. He could tell what was valuable and what wasn't with just one look. Meng Yao and Yushu suddenly understood Lin Yi's intention. Lin Yi wanted to use Skybolt Pig to test the value of this thing. Rar! Seeing the round bead on the ground, the Sky Thunder Pig cried out in excitement. It used its two front paws to pick up the bead and held it in its bosom as if it had found a rare treasure. It really is a good thing. Lin Yi nodded. Skybolt Pig's action said it all. If it wasn't a good thing, Skybolt Pig wouldn't react like this. One had to know that this little guy wouldn't be interested in normal treasures. Rar! Skybolt Pig heard Lin Yi's words and nodded. Skybolt Pig, looking at you, you must know what this is, right? Lin Yi pointed at the bead in Skybolt Pig's arms. Rar! Skybolt Pig nodded. Chapter 2051, Spiritual Beast Core. Should we ask Falbert? Meng Yao suddenly said. Falbert used to be from a big sect. Would he know what this is? You're right. I'll send a message to Falbert and ask. Lin Yi heard Meng Yao's suggestion and felt that it was doable. He sent another message to Falbert. This time, Falbert didn't reply but called him directly. Falbert. Lin Yi picked up the phone. This thing you sent me, I think I remember it. There was something like this in the sex treasury, but there were too many things in there. I didn't pay much attention to the things that weren't useful for my training. Falbert hesitated and said, embarrassed, I didn't have to worry about anything in the sect. The only thing I had to do was train. Oh, there's something like this? Lin E was surprised. If Falbert had something like this in the sex treasury, then it shouldn't be trash. Yes, if my master was here, he might recognize it, but Falbert said, I really don't remember what it is. Forget it, it's fine. Since you don't remember, there's no need to worry. Lin E didn't dwell on this question and said, Falbert, you go ahead. I'll look into it myself. Okay, I'm really sorry. I couldn't help much. Falbert had always been grateful to Lin E, and always wanted to help Lin E. Especially when Lin E not only helped him but also Grandma's son. Faubert was very grateful. However, Lin E didn't have anything to trouble him. This time he couldn't help him. It's fine, Lin E smiled. After hanging up the phone, Lin E continued to play with the bead in his hand. Since Han Jingjing hadn't woken up, Lin E had nothing to do now, so he continued to study this treasure. That lion has been with Skybolt Pig and General Weiwu for so long, his eyes shouldn't be that bad. Shu muttered, "Looks like this is a good treasure, but I don't know how to use it." Skybolt Pig? Lin Yi's eyes lit up. Mentioning Skybolt Pig made Lin Yi think of a way to test whether this thing was good or not. "Shu, go get Skybolt Pig." Lin Yi said, "Oh, Skybolt Pig?" Yushu paused, but she still got up and walked out of the villa's back door. After a while, she carried Skybolt Pig into the villa. "Skybolt Pig, take a look and see if this is a treasure." Lin Yi said, as he placed the bead on the floor in front of Skybolt Pig. Skybolt Pig's ability to identify treasures was extraordinary. This guy was very good. He could tell what was valuable and what wasn't. Meng Yao and Yushu suddenly understood Lin Yi's intention. Lin Yi wanted to use Skybolt Pig to test the value of this thing. Chirp, chirp. Seeing the round bead on the ground, the Sky Thunder Pig cried out in excitement. It used its 2 front paws to pick up the bead and held it in its bosom as if it had found a rare treasure. "It really is a good thing." Lin Yi nodded. Skybolt Pig's action said it all. If it wasn't a good thing, Skybolt Pig wouldn't react like this. After all, this little guy wouldn't be interested in normal treasures. Chirp, chirp. Skybolt Pig heard Lin Yi's words and nodded. "Skybolt Pig, looking at you. You must know what this thing is, right?" Lin Yi pointed at the bead in Skybolt Pig's arms. Chirp, chirp. Skybolt Pig nodded. "Then what is this thing? What does it do?" Lin Yi saw Skybolt Pig nodding and quickly asked. Chirp, chirp. Skybolt Pig gestured with his paws and pointed at the solid wood on the floor of the villa. He shook his head. "Oh, you're saying that you can't write on the floor?" Lin Yi suddenly remembered that Skybolt Pig could write with his paws to communicate with Lin Yi on the Ice Palace Mountain. Chirp, chirp. Skybolt Pig quickly nodded. "Let's go to the backyard." Lin Yi naturally didn't want to go to the front yard. He could see what was going on in the villa from the outside. If someone saw a pig communicating with a human on the floor, wouldn't they be scared to death? The backyard, on the other hand, was private property. It was surrounded by a high wall, and people wouldn't be able to see it unless they climbed the wall. Meng Yao and Yushu had heard from Lin Yi that Skybolt Pig could write, but it was their first time seeing it. They couldn't help but wonder. "What is this thing?" Lin Yi pointed at the bead in Skybolt Pig's arms. Skybolt Pig used his front paw to write on the soft soil in the backyard. "Spirit Beast Essence Core." "Spirit Beast Essence Core?" Lin Yi paused. "What is this?" Spirit beasts form an essence core in their body, and spirit beasts of Sky class, and above have an essence core. Skybolt Pig said, "You're saying that this is a Sky class spirit beast essence core?" Lin Yi asked, surprised. Chirp, chirp. Skybolt Pig nodded with the bead in his arms. "What is this thing used for?" Lin Yi asked. "Spirit beasts can use it for training, and humans can use it to make elixirs." Skybolt Pig said, "Training? Oh, you can just train with me. You don't need this." Lin Yi said as he snatched the bead from Skybolt Pig's arms. Chirp, chirp. Skybolt Pig felt wronged and wrote, "Even for training, spirit beasts don't know how to use it." "Don't know how to use it? That's even better." Lin Yi was glad that Skybolt Pig didn't know how to use it. If the lion used it on him, it would be his turn to give it to Lin Yi. "What kind of spirit beast essence core does this thing belong to, and what level is it?" Lin Yi asked. "My level is too low. I can't tell." Skybolt Pig wrote, "Then how do you use it for making elixirs?" Lin Yi asked. "I don't know." Skybolt Pig wrote again. "Even Zhang Liju doesn't know." Lin Yi was surprised that even Skybolt Pig didn't know. Maybe he does, but he never told me. Skybolt Pig shook his head. I see. All right then. Lin Yi put the bead away. Although it didn't seem to be of much use at the moment, it might be useful in the future. Skybolt Pig looked at the treasure being taken away by Lin Yi and felt helpless, but he didn't dare do anything to Lin Yi. After all, it was only a legend that an essence could be used for training. Skybolt Pig didn't know the exact method of training. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2039. It wasn't as beneficial as Lin Yi helping it level up during this period of time. It and General Wei Wu had been following Lin Yi, and now they were already Mystic Late Phase Peak Gaozhu and Gaozhu. This leveling speed was much faster than that illusory inner core. Therefore, Skybolt Pig was only a little disappointed before he returned to his own place to play with General Wei Wu. Lin Yi, on the other hand, returned to his room with Meng Yao and Yushu. Han Jingjing woke up as well, stretching lazily as she let out a seductive moan. Yao Yao, don't you think that this Han Jingjing is trying to seduce Shield Bro a little? Yushu whispered to Meng Yao. Is that so? Meng Yao blinked. Han Jingjing's so dumb. She shouldn't have any ulterior motives, right? Shu's dumb too, Yushu said. Do you think anyone could be Shu? Meng Yao said. I don't think so, but this Han Jingjing does have some talent in elixir making. Otherwise, Lin Yi wouldn't think so highly of her. After all, Lin Yi rushed to Han Jingjing's room. The moment she woke up, Jingjing, you're awake. Lin Yi bro, did Jingjing fall asleep? Han Jingjing rubbed her eyes sleepily. I'm sorry, I was so tired I couldn't take it anymore and fell asleep. I didn't do it on purpose. Lin Yi bro, you're not mad, are you? Why would I be mad? Lin Yi smiled. You used up a lot of qi to condense the fire. It's normal to be tired. Jingjing thought that I was useless. It's good that I'm normal. Han Jingjing said happily. Lin Yi bro, Jingjing, learn this now. But I used up all my qi just now. Although this refiner's arts can recover my qi really quickly, I'll need to go back and train for a few days to recover. I can't practice with Lin Yi bro for now. No need, I can recover now, Lin Yi said. However, don't tell anyone about what happened next, not even your brother. Can you do that? Of course, Jingjing's mouth is very tight. She never talks nonsense. Han Jingjing said, no one in the family knows that Jingjing is learning alchemy. Even my brother doesn't know what Jingjing is doing. And that's good, Lin Yi said, because what's going to happen next might be unimaginable. So you must keep it a secret and not tell anyone. And in that case, I'll only be good to Big Brother Lin Yi from now on. I won't have any contact with anyone else. That way, I won't have a chance to say it. Han Jingjing nodded and promised. There's no need for that. There's no problem with normal interactions. Lin Yi broke into a sweat. This Han Jingjing wouldn't be with anyone else in the future. Was she going to cling on to him for the rest of her life? However, this kind of alchemy genius, Lin Yi really couldn't bear to push her to others. An evil thought of taking her for himself arose in the bottom of Lin Yi's heart. Lin Yi quickly shook his head and dispelled this unrealistic idea. And in any case, Jingjing will listen to Big Brother Lin Yi in the future. Han Jingjing said, Give me your hand. Lin Yi said, In a while, I will help you recover your physical strength. At the same time, I will also help you improve your strength. You just need to circulate the alchemist's auxiliary mantra like usual. Okay, Jingjing understands. Han Jingjing stretched out her hands and handed them to Lin Yi. Lin Yi reached out and checked Han Jingjing's pulse. But what surprised Lin Yi was that Han Jingjing didn't seem to ask why recently. It seemed like she trusted what he said more. She didn't question anything he asked her to do. Fortunately, he didn't have any bad thoughts towards her. Otherwise, This genius girl would trust others too easily. This wasn't a good thing. If she was cheated, it would be too late to regret it. In the past, Lin Yi and Han Jingjing weren't very familiar, so he didn't care so much. But now that he was familiar with Han Jingjing and Han Jingjing knew alchemy, Lin Yi had to watch out for her in the future. He couldn't let her be cheated by others. Lin Yi directly circulated the second level of the art of dragon mastery. Now, Lin Yi could already circulate the second level skillfully. Although it hadn't reached the perfect state, it was easy to help others recover their physical strength and improve their strength. Plus, Lin Yi didn't require Han Jingjing to reach Earth class. As long as she reached Mystic Late Phase Peak, that would be enough. Han Jingjing was operating the Alchemist Auxiliary Mental Cultivation Method when she suddenly felt a powerful energy that belonged to her pouring into her body from her meridians. Han Jingjing's eyes flashed with a strange light, but she didn't have time to hesitate. She hurriedly operated the mental cultivation method and absorbed this energy into her body, golden class early phase. Very quickly, Han Jingjing's physical strength was replenished, and she returned to her previous state. This speed surprised and delighted Han Jingjing. So, recovering strength could be this fast. But it didn't stop there. Han Jingjing's strength was still rising. Golden class early phase peak, golden class mid-phase peak. In the blink of an eye, she broke through to mystic. When Han Jingjing broke through to mystic, there was no feeling of a limit. This made Lin Yi feel strange. Whether it was for Faubert, Qintian, Lingshan, Yuqian, or the others, they all had some difficulty breaking through the barrier. It wasn't too hard, but there was always a barrier. However, this did not happen to Han Jingjing. He wasn't sure if it was because of the second stage of the art of dragon mastery or because Han Jingjing was practicing a supplementary art for alchemists, so it was much easier to level up than other arts, and so, very quickly, Han Jingjing's strength broke through Mystic early phase and reached Mystic late phase peak. The second level of the art of dragon mastery was much, much faster than the first level. It had only been an hour, and Han Jingjing had become a Mystic late phase peak. Although this master didn't live up to his name, his strength was still there. Lin Yi bro, Jingjing is a Mystic late phase peak now? Is that true? Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. Lin Yi bro, you're too amazing. Jingjing admires you so much. You can turn Jingjing into mystic in an instant. Ooh, Lin Yi bro is a genius. Jingjing is a big idiot. I've been training for so many days, and I'm only golden class early phase, but Lin Yi bro can turn Jingjing into mystic late phase peak in an instant. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2040. Ugh, actually, you're not stupid. Lin Yi sweated as he listened to Han Jingjing's words, but his pride was greatly satisfied. Yes, Jingjing's family actually said that Jingjing is a genius, but it depends on who I'm comparing myself to. Compared to Lin Yi bro, Jingjing isn't a genius anymore. Han Jingjing said, so I've decided I'll always be by Lin Yi bro's side. That way I'll be influenced by Lin Yi bro and become a genius too. Jingjing, try condensing a golden class second level refinement fire and see if you can control it. Lin Yi said, golden class second level. Jingjing hasn't studied it yet. With Jingjing's strength, she could only condense a golden class first level refinement fire, and she didn't have the time to calculate and modify the second level refinement fire chant. So it might not work. Han Jingjing said worriedly. Try it. Lin Yi said, yes, I'll try it then. Han Jingjing nodded and found the chant and control method of a golden class second level refinement fire in the tablet. After a few times, she memorized it and reached her hand out to try. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just when Lin Yi was about to give up, a refinement fire appeared in Han Jingjing's hand. A golden class second level refinement fire. Lin Yi could tell with one look that the refinement fire in Han Jingjing's hand was a golden class second level refinement fire, because Lin Yi could condense it as well. According to the refinement fire chant that Zhang Liju left behind, Lin Yi could even condense a mystic first level refinement fire, but it was useless. He could condense it, but he couldn't control it. No matter if Lin Yi wanted to change the temperature or the intensity of the fire, the refinement fire would suddenly go out. Speaking of geniuses, Lin Yi was quite a genius, but if he couldn't maintain the refinement fire, everything would be in vain. Can you change the intensity and temperature? Lin Yi asked. Jingjing, give it a try. As Han Jingjing spoke, she began to change the intensity of the alchemic fire in her hand, from small to large, and then from large to small. The same was true for the temperature. It went from low to high, then from high to low. Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing in front of him and was filled with emotions. He really wanted to hug her and give her a kiss. What kind of genius was she? She could even do this? Good, very good. Continue. Let's see how long you can last. Lin Yi couldn't help but praise. Han Jingjing nodded. However, after about half an hour or so, Han Jingjing's face began to look worse, and the sweat on her forehead increased. Big brother Lin Yi, are you done? Jingjing can't hold on any longer. Han Jingjing finally couldn't hold on any longer. It seemed that condensing the pill fire was an extremely exhausting matter, especially changing the fire's temperature and intensity. It took up a lot more stamina. Han Jingjing was a mystic late phase peak, but this short amount of time was enough for her to be exhausted. Her forehead was covered in sweat. All right, stop. Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing's exhausted look and sighed in his heart. Although Han Jingjing was a genius, she couldn't make up for the lack of strength. No wonder Bingtang once said that alchemists were so rare. Even an alchemist with the strength of a yellow rank third level might not be able to refine a yellow rank third level elixir, even if you could condense and control a golden level 3 pill fire. You wouldn't be able to do it if you didn't have the stamina to maintain it. Han Jingjing was a mystic late phase peak, but she still couldn't maintain a golden level 2 pill fire for too long. With Han Jingjing's current stamina, she could only maintain a furnace of golden level 2 pill fire. Half an hour wasn't short, but it wasn't long either. Of course, if it was golden level 1 pill fire, it shouldn't be much of a problem. With Han Jingjing's current strength, she should be able to make a few more furnaces. Phew. Lin Yi bro, Jingjing is so useless. I'm already a mystic late phase peak, but I can only maintain a golden level 2 pill fire for half an hour. Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi with a face full of shame. It's already not easy. It's your first time condensing a golden level 2 pill fire, and you can control it as you please. This is already so much better than many people. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and said with some shame, You're even better than me. Jingjing is not as good as Lin Yi bro. Lin Yi bro. Don't say that. Jingjing will get arrogant. Han Jingjing rubbed her hands embarrassedly and squinted her eyes. 2 dimples hung on her pretty face like a happy kitten. I heard that in order to concoct a second-level pill, you need to be an Earth-class refiner, and in order to concoct a third-level pill, you need to be a Sky-class master. That's why you can control a second-level pill fire for half an hour when you're only a mystic late phase peak. Lin Yi said, This is already a very good result. This amount of time is enough to make a furnace of pill fire. Really? Then it seems that Jingjing isn't an idiot. Han Jingjing said, but Lin Yi bro, from Jingjing's point of view, the reason why I only lasted for half an hour this time is because of the pill fire condensation chant. This chant is too complicated. It makes the qi pass through several meridians and acupoints of the body. This will definitely waste a lot of time and energy. If I could simplify this chant, I might be able to last another 10 minutes or so. Jingjing, you don't need to practice the mantra I gave you previously. Take a look at this mantra. Lin, Yi said, as he took out Zhang Liju's notes and flipped to the page with the chant. Write this down, and also the other types of pill fire condensation chant as well. Study it when you get back. This is much easier than the chant you have. This is too easy. Han Jingjing looked at the first level pill fire condensation chant. In the notes Lin Yi gave her, she gasped, "This is what Lin Yi Bro summarized and improved. It's even easier than Jing Jing's. Lin Yi Bro is indeed better than Jing Jing." Man, this isn't my conclusion. It's someone else's. Lin Yi didn't want to lie to Han Jingjing Lin. He felt that it was a bit embarrassing, but Lin Yi didn't like to brag to his friends. Something this powerful can get into Lin Yi Bro's hands. That's enough to prove that Lin Yi Bro is extraordinary, Han Jingjing said, still in awe. Lin Yi didn't say anything, but he thought to himself, was this genius girl really stupid, or just pretending? Every time she said something, it always satisfied Lin Yi's ego. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2041. And then make a copy. Remember, don't let anyone see it, Lin Yi said. And Han Jingjing said, and started taking pictures with the tablet. After taking pictures of the condensing technique, Han Jingjing didn't touch the other things in the notes. Lin Yi didn't let her see it, and she didn't ask for it. At the back, there are some notes and recipes written by first and second level golden class refiners. You can buy them too and study them when you get back. Try making some simple elixirs. Since Lin Yi had taken out the notes, he wouldn't be stingy. But the higher level things, Lin Yi didn't want Han Jingjing to look at it for the time being. After all, Han Jingjing's strength hadn't reached that level yet. If she were to study those things too early, it would be like biting off more than she could chew. After taking pictures of the things she needed, Han Jingjing closed the notes and handed it back to Lin Yi. Lin Yi Bro, I'm returning it to you. Jing Jing will go back and study it. And call me any time if there's any news. Lin Yi nodded and put the notes away. Han Jingjing went home happily with the tablet, and Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing's back. The shock in his heart couldn't be any greater, and he couldn't calm down for a long time. Shield Bro, that Han Jingjing seems to be very powerful. Yushu stood beside Lin Yi and said to Lin Yi, "N, very powerful indeed." Lin Yi said, "I'm afraid that the heavy responsibility of helping little girl rock candy refined pills will fall on her." Lin Yi had already lost confidence in his alchemy level, but he didn't expect that there would be a light at the end of the tunnel. He could wear out iron shoes in fruitless search, only to find it effortlessly. A neighbor and classmate that he met by chance was actually an alchemy genius. This scientific method of alchemy was simply unprecedented and would never be repeated in the future. Compared to Han Jingjing, those alchemists were simply too weak. This little girl was really not an ordinary, kind of valiant. Shield Bro, I don't think that Han Jingjing is stupid. Yushu said, "Not stupid." Lin Yi blinked as he turned to Yushu. "It's nothing. Shu was just saying." Yushu changed the topic after that. "Shield Bro, it's time for breakfast. Grandma's son's ready." "Is it time for breakfast already?" Lin Yi didn't think that a night had passed without him noticing. If he knew this would happen, he would have asked Han Jingjing to stay for breakfast. After breakfast, Lin Yi didn't waste any more time and went back to his room to train. Even if it was Han Jingjing, due to the limitations of her own strength, she probably wouldn't be able to concoct a golden third-level elixir. So the only thing he could do was to increase his strength. As long as Lin Yi became a Sky Class Master and increased Han Jingjing's strength to Earth Class Late Phase Peak, then Han Jingjing might be able to make Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill. Although, normally, Earth Class Late Phase Peak strength wasn't enough to support a Golden Class third-level refiner's refinement, and the weakest one would be a Sky Class Early Phase Master, but Han Jingjing's refinement and control method had been simplified and improved. Han Jingjing would probably be able to make a golden class third level pill when she was Earth class late phase peak. And Lin Yi could only place his hope on this. This was a goal. He wanted to become a sky class and Han Jingjing a golden class third level refiner. This way, no matter how domineering Bingtang girl was, she wouldn't make things difficult for Feng Xiaoxiao. Since he had this goal, Lin Yi naturally couldn't waste any more time. He had to work hard. Thinking about how Han Jingjing worked hard every day to calculate some formulas and meridian diagrams, even when she was walking, this gave Lin Yi the motivation to work hard. But not long after Lin Yi entered the Jade Space to train, he heard a loud sound not far from the villa. Even Lin Yi's room felt a little shaky. The loud sound brought Lin Yi back to reality from his training, and he quickly ran out of the room. Lin Yi could already confirm that the sound came from Han Jingjing's villa, and so Lin Yi's heart was even more anxious. Han Jingjing's importance to Lin Yi was very clear, and Lin Yi couldn't let any harm come to her. When Lin Yi came to the living room, Meng Yao and Yushu were also panicking. Lin Yi, you heard that loud sound too? Meng Yao asked anxiously. Yeah, I heard it. It seemed to come from Han Jingjing's villa. Lin Yi frowned. I don't know what happened. Then let's go check it out. Meng Yao, naturally, understood how important Han Jingjing's skills were to Lin Yi. She quickly followed Lin Yi out of the villa, looking in the direction of Han Jingjing's villa. Seeing that there were no signs of damage outside Han Jingjing's villa, Lin Yi breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that the house didn't explode, but he didn't know what happened inside. Coming to the door of Han Jingjing's villa, Lin Yi quickly pressed the doorbell. After a while, someone came to open the door, but it wasn't Han Jingjing, but Han Jingjing's brother, Han Xiaoqiao. However, although it was Han Xiaoqiao who opened the door, Lin Yi still breathed a sigh of relief because Lin Yi didn't see too much panic on Han Xiaoqiao's face, which meant that the problem shouldn't be too big. Xiaoqiao, what happened just now? What made the loud sound? Lin Yi asked. The loud noise was caused by Big Sister Jingjing, but I don't know what she was doing. Her face was covered in soot, and she came out of the room with dirt all over her face. Then she went to take a bath. Han Xiaoqiao shook his head. He also didn't know what Han Jingjing was doing. Dirty and dirty? Lin Yi heard that Han Jingjing was fine, and she could still go to take a shower. He was relieved, so he said, then wait for her to finish taking a shower. Okay, Lin Yikij, please come in. When Han Xiaoqiao came to open the door, he was still holding a book in his hand. Obviously, he was just studying. This brother and sister were really diligent, which made Lin Yi admire them. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2042. Date 6th of November. While they were talking, the security patrol car of the property management company drove over quickly. Obviously, a nearby neighbor had called the property management company. The patrol car stopped, and a few security guards got out of the car and asked, "Excuse me, did the explosion happen here? What happened? Do you need help?" The owners of these luxurious villas were big customers of the property company, and their annual fees were tens of thousands of yuan. It was no wonder that they were so attentive, rushing to the scene as soon as something happened. "Oh, it's nothing. My friend might have accidentally blown up the pressure cooker while cooking." Lin Yi guessed that Han Jingjing must have encountered some problems when she was studying alchemy, but he couldn't tell the security the truth. He just found an excuse to cover it up. "I see. It's fine then." The leader of the security team let out a sigh of relief when he heard Lin Yi's words. He was afraid of a gas explosion or a high-voltage explosion. If these things exploded, it would be related to the property company's maintenance, and they would have to bear the responsibility. However, after hearing that it was just a pressure cooker explosion, and there seemed to be no casualties, he was naturally relieved. "Haha, thank you," Lin Yi said. "It's fine. You guys are the owners of the villa next door, right? Just call us if anything happens. The security team leader saw that the door of Lin Yi's villa was open, and naturally, he guessed that they were the owners of the villa next door. Okay, you guys go back to your work. Lin Yi waved his hand, indicating that they could leave. The security team got into the patrol car and drove away quickly. Meng Yao and Yushu let out a sigh of relief when they heard that Han Jingjing was fine. Yao Yao, Shu, you guys go back. I'll wait here and see what she's doing, Lin Yi said. And, okay, it's safe, Meng Yao reminded. Don't worry. Lin Yi followed Han Xiaoqiao into the villa, while Meng Yao and Yushu went back to their own villa. Lin Yi bro, wait for sis here. I'm going to read. Han Xiaoqiao didn't seem to be very sociable. After pouring a drink for Lin Yi, he got up and went back to his room to read. Lin Yi nodded and said, Go on with your work. Don't worry about me. In the living room, with nothing to do, Lin Yi continued to enter the space of the jade pendant to cultivate. Anyway, there were no outsiders in Han Jingjing's house, so Lin Yi didn't need to hide. About half an hour later, footsteps came from upstairs, followed by Han Jingjing's muttering, It's over, it's over. Jingjing's disfigured. I'm done for, brother. Will he not like me anymore? Jingjing? Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he heard Han Jingjing's words. She shouted upstairs, Jingjing, I'm here. I'm downstairs in the living room. Ah, Lin Yi bro, you're here to see Jingjing? Han Jingjing was happy to hear Lin Yi's voice, but stopped when she was about to go downstairs. There was a deep cut on her face. It was on her forehead, and it wouldn't be too obvious if she covered it with her hair, but Han Jingjing still had some. Even with miracle Dr. Guan's medicine, there would still be a cut left. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Han Xiaoqiao didn't tell Han Jingjing that he was here, but then he remembered that Han Xiaoqiao went back to his room to read, and Han Jingjing was in the shower. It was normal that he didn't tell her. Jingjing, you're hurt? Come down and let me see. Lin Yi said. Ah, Lin Yi bro, you already know? Han Jingjing didn't want to go downstairs like this, but after hearing Lin Yi's words, she knew that she couldn't hide it anymore. She could only go downstairs. When she saw Lin Yi, tears of grievance fell down. Lin Yi bro, my head is broken, and my face is disfigured. Will you not like Jingjing in the future? Why do you say that? Lin Yi realized that Han Jingjing was actually very fragile. Jingjing thinks that Lin Yi bro only likes beautiful girls, not ugly ones, Han Jingjing said. Otherwise, why would Lin Yi bro be surrounded by beautiful girls? Ugh, that's just a coincidence, Lin Yi said. Plus, Jingjing is also very beautiful. But Jingjing's face is disfigured now. Han Jingjing pointed at the gauze on her forehead and said, Hee, it's okay. I'll help you heal it. Lin Yi smiled slightly. He buckled the pulse on Han Jingjing's arm with one hand and put the other hand on Han Jingjing's forehead. It only took a few seconds. Before Han Jingjing could react, he quickly took it away and said, It's done. It's done? Han Jingjing was slightly surprised. Just now, she only felt a slight chill on her forehead, and then Lin Yi told her it was done. And if you don't believe me, you can take a look. Lin Yi pointed at Han Jingjing's forehead and said, it doesn't seem to hurt too much. Han Jingjing touched her forehead. She was a little surprised. Out of trust in Lin Yi, she directly removed the gauze on her forehead and touched the wound with her hand. There was no wound at all. Except for the injury medicine on her hand, the skin was smooth and delicate. There was no sign of a wound at all. Go and wash off the injury medicine. Lin Yi smiled. It's really done? Han Jingjing didn't expect that Lin Yi actually reached out and touched it, and it healed her wound. Isn't it too magical? Won't you know if you see it yourself? Said Lin Yi, and Han Jingjing quickly ran to the bathroom. There was an exclamation in the bathroom. And then there was the sound of water washing her face. After a while, Han Jingjing ran out of the bathroom. She was excited. Big brother Lin Yi, It's really done. You're so amazing. Jingjing admires you so much. Lin Yi was a little embarrassed by Han Jingjing. He really didn't know what to say to be admired by a genius girl. In fact, Lin Yi's road to success was really difficult. The only lucky possibility was that his physique was just right to practice the art of dragon mastery. In addition, Lin Yi put in more effort than others, so he had some magical powers that seemed very powerful today. However, Lin Yi was also aware of his own shortcomings. His strength today came entirely from hard work and coincidences. Lin Yi couldn't compare to the disciples of the hidden aristocratic families, and he couldn't compare to the disciples of the ancient sects and ancient aristocratic families. Without the space of the jade pendant, Lin Yi might still be at the golden rank. It was fine if he didn't have a master to guide him. It could be said that on the road of cultivation, Lin Yi didn't even have a person to consult. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2043. His master left when he was a few years old, and old Lin didn't even know as much as Lin Yi did. The only person who could be called his second master was Zhao Yazi, but he had a bad memory. So, on the path of cultivation, Lin Yi had to figure it out himself. What was worse was that Lin Yi didn't have a master to guide him, and he didn't have any treasures to use. The only pill he had was probably the qi-gathering pill. He was a world of difference compared to the disciples of the ancient sects and noble houses who had been using spiritual herbs since they were young. But what Lin Yi had was a stubborn and hard-working heart. He had never given up before, and he'd been trying his best to make up for the difference between him and the disciples of the hidden houses, and the disciples of the ancient sects. Xiao was a golden class in a month, and Naipeo was a mystic late phase peak in a few months. Lin Yi could only be envious. Fortunately, the jade space was a godly item, and Lin Yi was able to leave his opponents far behind. Of course, the jade space was only making up for the lack of qi in the air. If there was enough qi in the air, the art of dragon mastery alone would be enough for him to stand at the top of the world of practitioners. Of course, Lin Yi didn't complain about it. Solo practitioners naturally couldn't compare to the disciples of the noble houses and sections. Lin Yi's achievements today were already very good. "I'm not really good, just good at healing," Lin Yi said faintly. "Right, what were you doing before? Why did you make such a loud noise? I heard it from the villa next door." Actually, the cauldron that we bought together exploded. Han Jingjing frowned when she mentioned the previous matter. Jingjing originally wanted to refine an ordinary yellow-rank, first-grade medicinal pill, the energy recovery pill, but I didn't expect that when I refined it according to the recipe, the medicinal pill didn't succeed, and the cauldron exploded. Lin Yi was stunned. That medicine cauldron is made of copper, so its quality should be pretty good. Why did it suddenly explode? Jingjing doesn't know either. Jingjing has already converted the pill formula's condensation technique into a temperature and time curve. She only needs to follow the curve and time to control the alchemy fire's temperature and intensity. Jingjing's calculation is already very accurate. In theory, it should have succeeded, but the medicine cauldron exploded. Could it be that this cauldron can't be used for alchemy? Lin Yi frowned. But in theory, a cauldron made of copper should be very sturdy. You can't concoct pills? Is there a need for a specialized cauldron? Han Jingjing also looked at Lin Yi with some doubt. "Let me ask." Lin Yi took out his phone. He wanted to call Boss Bai directly, but when he thought that he didn't have any achievements in alchemy, he was a little discouraged. If Boss Bai asked, Lin Yi couldn't hide it, but if he told the truth, how could Lin Yi explain the explosion of the medicine cauldron? Lin Yi didn't want anyone to know about Han Jingjing's matter for the time being. This was a trump card in his hands. Lin Yi didn't want Han Jingjing to be targeted by some forces. After all, Han Jingjing's alchemy skills were quite popular even in the ancient sections. So, after hesitating for a while, Lin Yi called Bai Weiduo directly. In theory, as Boss Bai's grandson, even if Bai Weiduo didn't know alchemy, he should know a lot about alchemy. After all, Bai Weiduo also said that he learned a lot from Boss Bai. Big brother Lin, why did you suddenly call me? Bai Weiduo was a little surprised to receive Lin Yi's call. Today was Sunday. Bai Weiduo was sleeping in the dormitory early in the morning. He hadn't gotten up yet, and Lin Yi's call came in. Weiduo, I have something to ask you, said Lin Yi. Big brother Lin, if there's anything, just say it. Why do you need to ask? Don't be so distant. I will tell you everything I know. Bai Weiduo was very grateful to Lin Yi for going to Tiger Park yesterday. Mei Yue's impression of him was also a lot better. At least he had successfully gotten Mei Yue's QQ number, and he could chat with Mei Yue online. It's about alchemy, said Lin Yi. Alchemy? I really don't know much about this. If you have knowledge in this area, you'd better ask my grandfather. When Bai Weiduo heard Lin Yi's question, he quickly said, Big brother Lin, it's not that I don't want to answer, but I really know too much. Don't worry, it's just a simple question. Lin Yi said, the cauldron used for alchemy, an imitation antique from the antique street. Is that okay? What? Bai Weiduo heard Lin Yi's question and froze. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How is that possible? Even if it's a real antique, if it's not designed according to the requirements and specifications of an alchemist, it can't be used for alchemy. It's a handicraft. If it's used for alchemy, the cauldron will explode. It can explode? Lin Yi sweated. It seemed that Han Jingjing's explosion wasn't for nothing. Even a real antique that wasn't used for alchemy could explode, not to mention an imitation cauldron. Not having a good teacher to teach them was a waste. Lin Yi was speechless. He and Han Jingjing were thinking too much. Lin Yi saw from Zhang Liju's notes that the cauldron used for alchemy didn't need to be too special. A normal copper or iron cauldron could do the job. But Lin Yi neglected one point, and that was that alchemists had their own cauldrons. These cauldrons could be made of copper or iron, but the ones sold on the street were trash. They couldn't be used for alchemy at all. But Zhang Liju didn't explain it clearly. In fact, if Zhang Liju's notes were seen by a disciple of a hidden house or an ancient sect, they'd definitely understand that the cauldron in here was a specialized cauldron. They wouldn't be like Lin Yi and think that it was a normal cauldron sold on the street. This was also why Yupanu found it strange when he heard that Lin Yi and Han Jingjing went to the antique street and bought 2 broken cauldrons, something that even the worst alchemist didn't use. Why would Lin Yi and Han Jingjing buy it? Did they think that they could use it to make elixirs? They didn't even know if they could use it or not. Yeah, normal cauldrons can explode for sure. If you want to make elixirs, you need a specialized cauldron for the alchemist, and it has to be of the same level. For example, a first-level elixir needs a first-level cauldron. Of course, a second-level cauldron can not only make a second-level elixir, but also a first-level elixir. Bai Weiduo still had this bit of knowledge. What, boss? Don't tell me you've learned alchemy already. That's really fast. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2044. Not yet. I'm just asking. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Right? Do you have a good cauldron that can be used for alchemy? There is one, but Grandpa already planned to pass it to his last disciple. Bai Weiduo said, you know that my brother and I don't have this talent. So my grandpa didn't want to pass it to us at all. Just one. There's nothing else? Even if it's a little inferior? Lin Yi was a little disappointed. Boss Bai only had one cauldron, and he passed it to his last disciple. It seemed that even if he learned alchemy, he wouldn't have a share. No. Bai Weiduo shook his head and said, Grandpa is particular about quality over quality. This is the cauldron he used before, and it's the only one. Okay. Thank you. I understand. After understanding the truth, Lin Yi didn't say anything more. Since Boss Bai only had one cauldron, and he passed it to his last disciple, then Lin Yi wouldn't ask Boss Bai anymore. It would be useless even if he asked. However, where could he buy a suitable cauldron for an alchemist? House Yu definitely had it, but if House Yu did with the relationship between Lin Yi and House Yu might not sell it. Ice Palace probably had it too, and they could get it too, but it wasn't worth it to trouble Crystal Candy for such a small matter. Moreover, he had boasted that he was going to become a golden class third-level alchemist, and after such a long time, he didn't even have a cauldron, let alone becoming an alchemist. He would probably be laughed at by Crystal Candy. Lin Yi held back his anger in front of Crystal Candy. Sooner or later, she would dig her eyes out. So Lin Yi didn't plan to make Crystal Candy despise him even more because of this small matter. Now, the only thing that Lin Yi could rely on to get a cauldron was the hidden house Yu, the hidden house Xiao, and the hidden house Han. The possibility of the hidden house Yu getting the cauldron was the highest. After all, the hidden house Yu was an old hidden house with strong connections. They weren't any weaker than the hidden house Yu. As long as the hidden house Yu asking for a normal cauldron from the hidden house Yu would be a piece of cake. But the only person Lin Yi knew and could contact in House Yu was Yu Bing, and Yu Bing was training in the Ice Palace right now. If he wanted to find Yu Bing, he would have to go through the Ice Palace. Plus, Yu Bing was in the Ice Palace, and it wouldn't be easy for House Yu to get a cauldron for Lin Yi. So Lin Yi gave up on the idea and turned his attention to the other two hidden families, with the relationship between Lin Yi and Zhao Qikuan. Asking for a cauldron shouldn't be a problem, but the problem was that Zhao Qikuan didn't have a high position in the hidden house. Even if they did, Zhao Qikuan might not be able to make them do it. Shaking his head, Lin Yi could only place his hopes on the hidden house Hans, the new hidden house. He just didn't know if the hidden house Hans had the connections to get a cauldron. Listening to the hidden Han family, they were already being oppressed and coveted by the other hidden families. Asking them to help them get a medicine cauldron was probably not very likely. How is it, Linny bro? Han Jingjing asked worriedly, seeing Lin Yi frowning after the call. This cauldron can't be used for elixir making. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. If you use this cauldron to make elixirs, the cauldron will explode. No wonder my cauldron exploded. Jingjing thought it was something else. Han Jingjing understood. That means Jingjing was right. It's the cauldron's problem. That should be the case. Don't try to make elixirs for now. I'll think of a way to get you a cauldron in the next few days. Linny said, Okay, Linny bro. Han Jingjing nodded. Hidden house you coiling tiger. You said that Lin Yi got some information on elixir making from Boss Bai. Yu Zhentian listened to Yu Coiling Tiger's narration and frowned. He was a little unhappy. What did Lin Yi do to make Boss Bai think so highly of him? Yes, although I didn't hear it very clearly. I heard some key points clearly from the intermittent conversation at the door. Yu Coiling Tiger said, Boss Bai wants to take Lin Yi as his disciple and teach Lin Yi some knowledge on elixir making. When Lin Yi went out, he took a book of information. It must have been given to him by Boss Bai. If that's the case, it's worth it for our house Yu to find a way to exchange for that information. The key is Lin Yi willing to exchange? Yu Zhentian also knew that Yu Coiling Tiger and Lin Yi weren't on good terms, and the relationship between the entire house Yu and Lin Yi wasn't very good either. However, fortunately, Lin Yi didn't know that Yu Shisan came from the hidden house Yu, so the relationship between the two wasn't too stiff. If there were enough benefits, Lin Yi might be tempted. Uncle, I think we can definitely exchange for Lin Yi. The key is what we can give him. Yu Coiling Tiger said, no matter how powerful Lin Yi is, he's just a loose cultivator and a poor bastard. He even went to the antique street to buy a trash cauldron. This kind of person definitely doesn't have anything valuable on him. So if we take out something that can move him, he'll definitely compromise. Oh, went to the antique street to buy trash cauldrons? Yu Xintian raised his eyebrows. This Lin, he can't be that bad, right? After all, he has some connections with the Ice Palace. Why would he go buy trash? What the hell does he have to do with the Ice Palace? Palace Master Bingtang is just giving Lin Yi some face because of Xiao Xiao and Tang Yun. I dare say that Lin Yi wouldn't be able to get Bingtang to help him right now. Yu Coiling Tiger said with certainty, that's true. Yu Xintian believed that as well. Otherwise, there was no way the Ice Palace would know about 3 Earth-class masters going to assassinate Lin Yi. But even now, no one from the Ice Palace came out to investigate this. This meant that Bingtang didn't care about Lin Yi at all. Master Yu, I've thought of something that we can exchange for. Huang Mao suggested carefully. Oh, Huang Mao, what do you think we should exchange? Yu Xintian looked at Huang Mao. Cauldrons. Since Lin Yi went to the antique street to buy cauldrons, that means that Lin Yi doesn't have any good cauldrons, at least not a good one. Or his previous cauldrons were broken, or else he wouldn't have gone there to buy cauldrons. Huang Mao said, and since he went to the antique street to buy cauldrons, that means that Lin Yi doesn't have any other way to get cauldrons. He's a loose cultivator, so he can only go there to try his luck. But it's very likely that he didn't see a cauldron he liked, so he bought some trash to make up the numbers. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2045. Can that trash do alchemy? Won't the cauldron explode? Yu Xintian said, Are you sure he went to buy a medicine cauldron because he doesn't have one himself, and not because of something else? I'm not sure. The yellow hair shook his head. I'm just guessing. However, this is a way. Yu Xintian nodded and said, Pan, who bring 2 medicine cauldrons in a while. 1 first-grade medicine cauldron and 1 second-grade medicine cauldron. First, use the first-grade medicine cauldron to exchange with Lin Yi. If he refuses, then take out the second-grade medicine cauldron. Remember, don't use the second-grade medicine cauldron if you can. Although the Hidden Yu family was an alchemy family, they didn't have a lot of medicine cauldrons. It was okay to have a first-grade medicine cauldron as they had a lot of stock, but there weren't many second-grade medicine cauldrons. One had to know that medicine cauldrons could only be made by high-level alchemists. Many of the second-grade medicine cauldrons in the family came from the Heavenly Elixir sect. As for a third-grade medicine cauldron, even a high-ranked alchemist would not be able to forge it. Only a blacksmith could forge it. However, in this world, blacksmiths were pitifully rare. Not to mention the hidden aristocratic families. Even ancient sects and ancient aristocratic families did not have such existences. The only place that could confirm that there were blacksmiths was that place. Of course, these weren't the Hidden Yu family's concerns. The Hidden Yu family also had third-grade medicine cauldrons, but they absolutely couldn't take them out to exchange with others. The entire Hidden Yu family only had 2 third-grade medicine cauldrons. Yes, Uncle, I'll go talk to Lin Yi when I go to school tomorrow. Yu Pan, who nodded and said, By the way, how's your cultivation strength? Yu Xintian didn't have any other thoughts about Yu Pan, who now, from the arrangement of the Yu family's elder, Yu Pan, who would definitely develop into the next generation of elders. Yu Pan, who was very talented in alchemy, so the Yu family's elder sent him to Donghai Industry University to learn alchemy from Boss Bai. Of course, as long as Yu Pan, who didn't compete with Yu Xintian's son, Yu Pan Long, then Yu Xintian didn't have to worry about anything. Although the elders had a lot of power in the family, they still had to listen to the family master. Therefore, Yu Xintian was also concerned about Yu Coiling Tiger's cultivation homework. Once Yu Coiling Tiger grew up, it would be a great thing for the Yu family's future. Uncle, you also know that I have talent in alchemy, but in terms of cultivation, I can't bear too much hardship. Even if Yu Xintian didn't mention it, Yu Coiling, who was planning to find a chance to complain in the near future. After talking about Linny today, he didn't want to say anything else, but since his uncle brought it up, he naturally wouldn't let go of this good opportunity. My strength is too weak. I'm only at the peak of the late phase of the golden class. Maybe it's because my level is too low. So Boss Spy doesn't like me and didn't teach me more alchemy. That's true. That Lin E is already in Earth rank, at least in the late stage of Earth rank. He should be at the peak of the late stage of Earth rank. It's understandable that Boss Spy favors him. Yu Xintian nodded his head and said, "How about this? I'll write a list for you. Take this list to the elixir storage and collect 10 spirit gathering pills and 2 spirit gathering pills for your cultivation." Yes, Yu Coiling, who was overjoyed after hearing Yu Xintian's words. With these 2 pills, his strength would improve by leaps and bounds. Spirit Gathering Pill was a yellow rank 1 elixir. This kind of elixir was actually similar to the Spirit Gathering Pill, but the effect was much worse. Spirit Gathering Pill was an elixir for cultivators below the Mystic class to quickly increase their strength, but it was useless for Mystic class. Of course, the effect of this Spirit Gathering Pill was not as good as the Spirit Gathering Pill, but it didn't have the drawbacks of the Spirit Gathering Pill, because the energy contained in the Spirit Gathering Pill was not pure and domineering. People who took the Spirit Gathering Pill could still continue to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to cultivate. Therefore, Spirit Gathering Pill was very popular among the hidden families. Although many hidden families also had yellow rank 1 elixir masters, their success rate was not high. Therefore, the Yu family still had a lot of market, and they could rely on Spirit Gathering Pill to earn a lot of money. The Essence Gathering Pill, on the other hand, was a higher grade of cultivation elixir. It was meant for cultivators who were above the Mystic class and below the Earth class. It could quickly increase the strength of a Mystic class master, but it wouldn't have much effect on an Earth class master. However, the cost of Spirit Gathering Pill was hundreds or even thousands of times more than Spirit Gathering Pill. After all, Spirit Gathering Pill required a yellow rank 2 elixir master to make, and there was no guarantee of 100% success rate. Taking into account the chi consumption and failure rate of the elixir master, this Spirit Gathering Pill was priceless. This was also the reason why the disciples of the hidden houses could easily cultivate to the peak of the late phase of the golden class or the early phase of the mystic class, because Spirit Gathering Pills were not very valuable. And when the peak of the late phase of the golden class broke through to the early phase of the mystic class, they only needed to take 10 Spirit Gathering Pills at the same time. Even so, of course, this was only limited to the hidden houses. The noble houses did not have this kind of treatment. Even if they wanted to buy Spirit Gathering Pills, there was no way to buy it. The only one that had contact with the hidden house Yu was the common house Yu, but the hidden house Yu did not rely on elixir making. The Spirit Gathering Pills made by the first level elixir master were not enough for their disciples, so how could they give it to the common house Yu? It was already good enough if they could give them a few as rewards. Yu Xintian gave Yu Coiling Tiger 10 Spirit Gathering Pills at once, but only gave him 2 Spirit Gathering Pills. This meant that Spirit Gathering Pills were not valuable, but Spirit Gathering Pills were. However, the effects of the Spirit Gathering Pill were very overbearing. Even with 2, it could easily increase the strength of a practitioner from the early phase of the mystic class to the middle phase. 1 Spirit Gathering Pill was not a problem at all. This was also the reason why Yu Coiling Tiger was ecstatic. One had to know that the Spirit Gathering Pill was a treasure that even house you didn't have much of. Other hidden houses wanted to buy it, but they didn't have it. They would only sell it at a high price in auctions. And so Yu Coiling Tiger was able to get 2 of them. It was enough to show that Yu Zhentian was starting to value him and was raising him as an elder of the house. Holding Yu Zhentian's list, Yu Coiling Tiger first went to the elixir store to collect elixir pills, then went to the armory to collect 2 first-grade and second-grade medicinal cauldrons. After doing all this, You coiling tiger returned to his room to cultivate. With the elixir in hand, you coiling tiger couldn't wait to increase his strength from the peak of the late phase of the golden class to the early phase of the mystic class. On Monday morning, you coiling tiger came to school with high morale. He was now an early phase of the mystic class. After taking 10 spirit gathering pills, he easily broke through the barrier and became a mystic class early phase. Target equals _ blank. Chapter 2046. This was the advantage of being a disciple of a hidden house. If it was a disciple of a normal house, they might not be able to break through the golden class and reach mystic class. Even if it was the head of the house, mystic class was already a top-notch master. But in a hidden house, it was nothing, especially a hidden house like House U that relied on alchemy as a profession. However, looking at the empty classroom, Yupanhu was a little depressed. It seemed that he couldn't do things early. In a university classroom, unless it was time for class, no one would come so early. If everyone had the time, they might as well stay in the dormitory for a while. Who would run to the classroom so early in the morning? It was more popular to study at noon and at night, but there were fewer people studying in the morning. Let's go downstairs and see. To welcome that Lin E. Coiling Tiger Right looked at the time and said, "Then, should we take the cauldron down?" Yellow Hair asked, "Take it. You and Purple Hair each take one. When the time comes, whichever one I tell you to take out, you take it out." Coiling Tiger Right instructed, "Okay." Yellow Hair and Purple Hair replied at the same time. The three went downstairs and walked towards the parking lot of the biology building. Coincidentally, Lin E had just driven Meng Yao, Yushu, Han Jingjing, and Han Xiaoqiao to school, and Lin E and Han Jingjing were also walking towards the biology building. Lin E bro, last night Jingjing simplified and improved the method of condensing and controlling the first and second level fire. Now, Jingjing can condense a first level fire in 10 seconds and a second level fire in 30 seconds. Han Jingjing said. Lin E bro gave Jingjing the refiner's notes. "It's really good stuff." As Han Jingjing spoke, Coiling Tiger Right had already run over. He didn't hear the first half of Han Jingjing's words, but he heard the latter part clearly. Han Jingjing said that Lin E gave her some refiner's notes. It was really good stuff. Coiling Tiger Right's heart moved, and he was a little annoyed. Motherfucker, this Lin E was really a pervert. He kept having beauties around him. And in just a few days, he got together with Han Jingjing again. And from the looks of it, Han Jingjing also wanted to learn alchemy. Lin E naturally saw Coiling Tiger Right, but it was too late to stop Han Jingjing. Han Jingjing had already finished the second half of her sentence, and Lin E could only cough twice to signal her to stop. Someone was coming. Ha! Isn't this the great refiner Lin E Lin? What a coincidence! This time, Coiling Tiger Right, Coiling Tiger Right, Tiger Right, Coiling Tiger Right, Coiling Tiger Right, Tiger Right, Coiling 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 Right, Coiling Tiger was Coiling Tiger. For a rogue cultivator like Lin E, it was already good enough for him to have a slightly better medicinal cauldron. It was impossible for him to have an extra one for Han Jingjing. So it was normal for him to accompany Han Jingjing to buy it. However, it was impossible to use the trash bought from the street stalls for alchemy. Yupanhu, what's wrong with you again? Why aren't you in class this early in the morning? What are you doing here? Lin E said faintly, but then he said, "Huh? I didn't see it coming. A scholar who has been away for 3 days must be looked at with new eyes. You actually broke through? From yellow to mystic? Haha. You also noticed? You Coiling Tiger didn't hide his mystic early phase aura. So he didn't think it was strange for Lin E to see through it. How about it? Jealous? Envy? What's wrong with you? I'm an Earth class. Jealous of you?" Lin E frowned. "You came here just to show off that you've become a mystic? Is there anything else?" "Of course there is." you coiling tiger quickly said. Lin Yi, the information that Boss Bai gave you. What do you want? Lin Yi's face suddenly showed a vigilant expression. Why are you so nervous? I'm not going to steal it from you. I just want to borrow it to take a look. You coiling tiger saw Lin Yi's poker face and was a bit depressed. He wanted to turn into a beautiful woman and make Lin Yi give the information to him. From coiling tiger's perspective, as long as it was a beautiful woman, Lin Yi wouldn't reject it. How could he know that there was a reason why Lin Yi gave Han Jingjing such a good thing? It had nothing to do with whether Han Jingjing was a beautiful woman or not. No way. Boss Bai didn't let me lend it to anyone. Lin Yi said, if it's this matter, then please go ahead. Or you can borrow it directly from Boss Bai. After that, Lin Yi and Han Jingjing were ready to leave. Wait, how could you coiling tiger let Lin Yi go? If he went to the classroom and Boss Bai was next to him, his plan wouldn't be easy to implement. If any student saw it and complained to Boss Bai, it would be very disadvantageous to coiling tiger. What else? Lin Yi asked coldly. You can't be thinking that you're awesome now that you've become a mystic. Are you going to beat me up? Ha ha. How could that be? You coiling tiger suddenly shook his head. You Lin Yi are a master who can kill 3 Earth class masters at the same time. Me beating you up? I'm not stupid. Don't provoke me. It's useless. Then what do you want to do? Lin Yi snorted and didn't say much. Wow, big brother Lin Yi, you're so powerful. You can kill 3 Earth class masters in a second? Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi with admiration. Jingjing admires you more and more. You coiling tiger frowned. This Han Jingjing in the class, other than Wang Xinyan, was considered the prettiest girl in the class. You coiling tiger originally planned to find a girlfriend in the school. Wang Xinyan was definitely impossible. Not to mention the conflict during the college entrance examination. Wang Xinyan wouldn't care about him at all. Just based on the relationship between Wang Xinyan and Lin Yi, he didn't want to interfere. If she was killed by that madman Lin Yi, it wouldn't be worth it. Although Boss Bai didn't allow trouble here, what if Lin Yi got angry and killed him at the risk of being expelled? This wasn't impossible. Therefore, you coiling tiger shifted his gaze to Han Jingjing. As a result, Han Jingjing got together with Lin Yi in less than 2 days. She called Lin Yi big brother and even worshipped Lin Yi. This matter was most likely hopeless. However, these were all small matters in you coiling tiger's eyes. Women's matters weren't urgent. The most important thing was to get the information in Lin Yi's hands. Therefore, he said, Lin Yi, as far as I know, you've already shown the information to Han Jingjing, right? Boss Bai doesn't allow others to see it. It should be that he doesn't allow people other than his students to see it, right? If that's the case, why can't you let me see it? Why should I let you see it? Lin Yi sneered at you coiling tiger and asked, are you threatening me? Target equals _blank. Chapter 2047. This, actually, Lin Yi, I didn't look at it for nothing. I used something good to exchange for it. As you coiling tiger said this, he winked at the yellow hair and said, take out the good medicine cauldron and show it to Lin Yi. Yes, young master you. The yellow hair listened to you coiling tiger's instructions. He took out the yellow level 1st grade medicine cauldron in his hand and raised it in front of Lin Yi. Yellow level 1st grade medicine cauldron? There was a strange look in Lin Yi's eyes. You coiling tiger actually used the medicine cauldron to exchange for the information? Lin Yi really had the urge to laugh. Before this, he was still worried about where to buy the medicine cauldron. As a result, a fool came to his door the next day. However, although Lin Yi wanted to exchange, he couldn't show it too obviously on the surface. Otherwise, if you coiling tiger suffered a loss, he would definitely not let it go. In order to avoid trouble, Lin Yi intended to let him swallow this loss. Yes, it is the yellow level 1st grade medicine cauldron. You coiling tiger said proudly. How about it? You went to the antique street to buy a medicine cauldron before, right? If I'm not wrong, you should have bought it for Han Jingjing, right? But I can tell you responsibly that the medicine cauldron sold in the antique street, whether it is a real antique or an imitation, is a handicraft. It is impossible to use it for alchemy. If it is used for alchemy, the cauldron will explode. Looking at the medicine cauldron in the hands of the yellow hair, Lin Yi's heart suddenly moved. The medicine cauldron hidden in the Yu family was naturally the special medicine cauldron used by alchemists. In this regard, Lin Yi believed that Yu Coiling Tiger wouldn't lie to him. After all, Yu Coiling Tiger still couldn't grasp Lin Yi's true strength. He didn't know if Lin Yi was an alchemist or what level of alchemist he was. You guessed it right. The medicine cauldron did explode. Lin Yi said faintly, but I still don't want to exchange with you. You still don't want to exchange after the cauldron exploded? Yu Coiling Tiger listened to Lin Yi's contradictory words and was suddenly stunned. Why is that? Reason? In fact, it's very simple. The information that Boss Bai gave me is of no use to you. Your Hidden Yu family is a big business and is an alchemy family. Why would you be interested in such ordinary information? Lin Yi said lightly, So, I'm afraid you'll be at a disadvantage, so I won't trade with you. When Yu Coiling Tiger heard Lin Yi's words, it seemed as if he was thinking for Yu Coiling Tiger's sake. What he meant was that his information wasn't worth the price of his first-grade cauldron, so it was better if he didn't exchange for it. However, in Right Coiling Tiger's ears, these words had a different meaning. Yu Coiling Tiger felt that Lin must have felt that this grade 1 medicine cauldron was too weak. She didn't want to trade with him, so she said those words on purpose. Therefore, Right Coiling Tiger took a deep breath and said calmly, Lin Yi, if you think the item is bad, just say it. Right Coiling Tiger, can also produce good items. How about this? A grade 2 medicine cauldron. Do you want to trade or not? Rank 2? Lin Yi was incomparably shocked in his heart, but his face did not show it. He still looked at Right Coiling Tiger coldly. He said, You have a grade 2 medicine cauldron? Originally, it was already very good for Lin Yi to be able to use this tattered stall's information to exchange for a grade 1 medicine cauldron. Lin Yi really just wanted to make things difficult for Yu Coiling Tiger, so that after exchanging the medicine cauldron, he wouldn't feel that he was at a disadvantage. Therefore, he deliberately said these words. However, he didn't expect that this Right Coiling Tiger misunderstood his meaning and directly took out a grade 2 medicine cauldron. Of course, if there was a good thing, he would be a fool, and it wasn't Lin Yi's style. Naturally, Right Coiling Tiger nodded at Purple Hair. He said, You take it out and let classmate Lin Yi take a look. Classmate Lin Yi, please take a look. This is a grade 2 medicine cauldron. Purple Hair took out a medicine cauldron from his chest and raised it in front of Lin Yi. How is it? You're also an alchemy master, so you should recognize it, right? This is a pure grade 2 medicine cauldron, made by a high-level alchemy master from the Heavenly Elixir sect. A grade 2 medicine cauldron made by the Heavenly Elixir sect. Lin Yi suddenly realized that a high-level alchemy master could make their own medicine cauldron. However, Lin Yi still had that indifferent expression on his face. I still don't really want to exchange. F***CK. Right Coiling Tiger thought that a grade 2 medicine cauldron was enough to move Lin Yi, but he didn't expect that he still didn't want to exchange. However, this time, Lin Yi's tone was a little loose. He said don't really want to exchange, which meant that Lin Yi was a little tempted, but his own conditions might not be enough. Therefore, Right Coiling Tiger held back his anger and asked patiently, Lin Yi, what do I need for you to be willing to exchange? Right Coiling Tiger, it's not that I don't want to exchange with you, but the information in my hands really shouldn't be of much use to you. Lin Yi said earnestly, I think your Hidden Yu family should not lack such information. Why do you still make it difficult for me? Boss Bai said that I can't show it to others casually. Yes, why not? Right, Coiling Tiger said quickly. Since you have shown it to Han Jingjing, I won't miss it, right? Han Jingjing is a new alchemy master, so this information is useful to her, but your alchemy level shouldn't be bad. It's useless to look at this information, said Lin E. F *CK. Linny, why are you talking so much nonsense? I want to exchange for it. Even if I exchange for a pile of junk, it's also my willingness. Why are you worrying about it? Right, Coiling Tiger finally couldn't help but say angrily, I'm willing to exchange. It's hard to buy my willingness. Do you know? If you think that my conditions are not suitable, just say it. Don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. Don't. You obviously think that one medicinal cauldron is too little, right? Lin E looked at the raging right Coiling Tiger and sighed helplessly. It's not a lot. It's really not a lot. As expected, 2 medicinal cauldrons, 1 first-grade medicinal cauldron, and 1 second-grade medicinal cauldron. How about it? 2 for 1. Do you want to exchange or not? Give me a straightforward answer. Right Coiling Tiger took all the medicinal cauldrons in the hands of the yellow-haired and purple-haired people and sent them to Lin E. TSK. I really want these 2 medicinal cauldrons, but that information is really not worth this value. Lin E said with a bitter smile. Right Coiling Tiger, you are my classmate now. I don't want to cheat you. Listen to my advice, it's better not to exchange. If you don't exchange, you'll be cheating me. Right Coiling Tiger was extremely excited as he held the 2 medicinal cauldrons and said, Lin E, if you are my classmate, you should help your classmate even more. Brother Lin E, why don't you exchange with him? Anyway, I also need a medicinal cauldron now, and he's quite pitiful, Han Jingjing said weakly. Chapter 2048. Lin was really speechless, but he still said, All right, but I'll exchange with you. After the exchange, don't regret it. However, Lin E had to admit that Han Jingjing's interjection was really timely, giving Lin E an excuse to step down. Otherwise, Lin E would inevitably have to dawdle for a while. Whoever goes back on his word is a bastard. Right Coiling Tiger said resolutely, All right, in fact, Jingjing just happens to be lacking medicine cauldrons, and you insist on exchanging, then I can only exchange. Lin E sighed and said, Jingjing, bring the medicine cauldrons over. Here you go. Right Coiling Tiger was afraid that Lin E would regret it, so when he heard Lin E agree, he directly stuffed the 2 medicine cauldrons to Han Jingjing. Anyway, in Boss Bai's class, Right Coiling Tiger was not afraid that Lin E would be greedy for his 2 medicine cauldrons and not give him the information. If that was really the case, Right Coiling Tiger did not mind telling on him. Han Jingjing happily carried the 2 cauldrons over, and Lin E, on the other hand, opened the folder that contained the textbooks that he carried with him and took out a file from it. It was exactly the mantra for condensing alchemy fire, and the mantra for assisting alchemists that Boss Bai had copied for him. It's here, I'll give it to you. Lin E handed the document to Right Coiling Tiger. After you copy it, return it to me. This original is Boss Bai's. I still have to return it to him. All right. Right Coiling Tiger nodded repeatedly in response. After taking the document that Lin E handed over, Right Coiling Tiger could not wait to open it, but when he opened the document, his expression suddenly changed. Next, he could not wait to quickly flip through the document, but as he flipped faster and faster, his expression became uglier and uglier. When he reached the last page of the document, Right Coiling Tiger's face had already turned livid. Lin E, you tricked me, Right Coiling Tiger said angrily. Did Boss Bai give you this information? Yeah, you can ask Boss Bai if you don't believe me. Lin E said lightly, You know very well that I will not ask Boss Bai. You Coiling Tiger's eyes were about to spit fire. His 2 cauldrons. Although the Yu family still had some first grade and second grade cauldrons, they couldn't be wasted like this. Oh, if you still don't believe me, you can naturally come with me when I return the documents, Lin Yi said indifferently. This coiling tiger right heard Lin Yi's words and knew that Lin Yi wouldn't lie to him. This information was probably given to him by Boss Bai. What Boss Bai gave Lin Yi, on the other hand, was only the introductory files of alchemists, not the files on skills at all. In the final analysis, Coiling Tiger Right was fooled. He was fooled. He treated the introductory files in Lin Yi's hands as a treasure. He paid the price of 2 cauldrons in exchange for a useless file. Lin Yi, you know that this is the introductory files of alchemists. It is of no value to me. Why didn't you remind me? Coiling Tiger Right said angrily. You even cheated me of 2 cauldrons. Did you do it on purpose? I say, Coiling Tiger Right, are you retarded? I have been persuading you not to exchange before. Let me tell you, your Hidden Yu family definitely doesn't lack this stuff. Linny frowned and sneered. But what did you say? You said that you are willing. You are willing to exchange with me. I said that I am cheating you if I exchange with you, but you said that I am cheating you if I don't exchange. You force me to exchange. What can I do? This Coiling Tiger Right was suddenly speechless. He had no reason to refute Lin Yi's words. He said gloomily, Then, I don't want to exchange anymore. You don't want to exchange anymore? You don't want to exchange anymore, just because you say so? You have already read the files, and you say you don't want to exchange? Are you going to dig out your eyeballs or dig out your brain and erase the content you saw before? Lin Yi snorted and said, I don't have time to bother with you. Don't you want to copy this information? If you don't want to copy it, give it back to me. As Lin Yi said this, he snatched the files back from Coiling Tiger Right's hands. He ignored him and left with Han Jingjing. Coiling Tiger Right was aggrieved. He felt that he had suffered a huge loss. Although these 2 cauldrons were useless to him, they were very precious to the Hidden Yu family. They were given to Lin Yi for no reason, who would be in a good mood. However, although Coiling Tiger Right was aggrieved, he couldn't say anything. He thought about it carefully. It was true that Lin Yi had been refusing before, and even persuaded him not to exchange. It was him who asked to exchange with Lin Yi. So, who could be blamed for this? Of course, Coiling Tiger Right didn't think that Lin Yi was so kind and compassionate to persuade him not to exchange with him. Lin Yi was obviously loosening the reins only to grasp them better. Otherwise, why didn't Lin Yi tell him directly that the information that Boss Bai gave him was only the most basic mental cultivation method of an alchemist? If he had said it earlier, wouldn't he not exchange with him? And after the exchange, Lin Yi took the cauldron and left. He didn't pity him at all. It was obvious that Lin Yi was up to no good. He was tricking Coiling Tiger step by step. So Coiling Tiger Right was incomparably depressed. However, in Boss Bai's class, even if he was depressed, there was nothing he could do. Firstly, Lin Yi wasn't robbing, and secondly, he wasn't threatening. This exchange was fair and just. There weren't any other factors. Even if it was Boss Bai, Coiling Tiger Right wasn't in the right. So, Coiling Tiger Right could only swallow his broken teeth into his stomach. Mother asterisk Lin Yi tricked me. Coiling Tiger Right said hatefully, This guy will die a horrible death. I'll get back at him sooner or later. The yellow-haired and purple-haired didn't dare to speak carelessly at this time. Coiling Tiger Right was tricked, and they actually had some responsibility. They didn't notice the slightest detail and didn't stop Coiling Tiger Right in time. So, at this time, they were also afraid that Coiling Tiger Right would find trouble with them. Calm down, young Master Right. That Lin Yi obviously planned it well. He advanced step by step. We couldn't guard against it. The yellow-haired said, Yeah, young Master Right. Now, we can only learn from our mistakes. If you want to blame someone, blame that Lin Yi. He acted too well. making it hard for people to distinguish between the real and fake. The purple-haired also said, "You too. Think of a way for me now. Think of a good way. I want to discuss Lin. We can't just let this go. Even if we can't get the cauldron back, we have to make Linny suffer a bit." Coiling Tiger Right said, "Otherwise I won't be able to sleep." "Yes, young Master Right. We'll think of a way right now." The yellow-haired and purple-haired quickly nodded. Chapter 2049. Lin Yi and Han Jingjing walked in front. Han Jingjing hugged the two cauldrons with a smile on her face. "Brother Lin Yi, that right coiling tiger is really a fool. That alchemy fire condensation mantra and auxiliary mental cultivation method are the most common things, yet he still wants to exchange it." Han Jingjing had already learned from Lin Yi that the alchemy fire condensation mantra and auxiliary mental cultivation method were cheap goods. The alchemy fire condensation mantra that Lin Yi gave her was the real good stuff. However, Han Jingjing had gotten rid of both of them and came up with a more scientific method to condense the refinement fire. So, in comparison, Han Jingjing's refinement fire condensing method was more important. Even if Lin Yi's refinement fire condensing method was given away, Han Jingjing's refinement fire condensing method couldn't be given away. Of course he's stupid. I'm afraid he's regretting it now. Lin Yi said faintly, "Jingjing, you're not stupid either. What you said in front of Right Coiling Tiger just now was very timely. Jingjing is not stupid. Although compared to Brother Lin Yi, Jingjing is a little stupid, but compared to others, Jingjing is very smart," Han Jingjing said seriously. Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing's serious little face, but he couldn't see any clues. He shook his head. Perhaps Shu was overthinking. Han Jingjing was smart, but she wasn't that scheming. At least, Lin Yi couldn't feel any malice from her. Lin Yi was a very sensitive person. Back in the primeval forest when he was doing missions, he'd been spying a lot of the time. It was easy for him to tell if someone was friend or foe. Han Jingjing, on the other hand, didn't give off the aura of an enemy, only a sense of honesty. She told Lin Yi everything she researched without reservation. From this point alone, Han Jingjing wouldn't be a bad person. "Well, actually, compared to me, you're also very smart," Lin Yi said. "Isn't that so? Jingjing knows her place. She's not as powerful and smart as Big Brother Lin Yi." Han Jingjing said, "In the past, Jingjing has never admired or worshipped anyone, but after seeing Big Brother Lin Yi, Jingjing feels that Big Brother Lin Yi is very powerful." Lin Yi walked into the classroom with Han Jingjing. They'd gotten to know each other quite a bit, but Han Jingjing still took the seat behind him on her own accord. She didn't fight with Xinyan over it. Wang Xinyan, on the other hand, sat in her seat, quietly reading a book as usual. "Morning," Lin Yi said. "Haha, morning." Xinyan raised her head and smiled at Lin Yi. "Fan Gana hasn't harassed you these past 2 days, right?" Lin Yi knew that Zhang Duopan would find excuses to call him Meiwei, and Fan Ganha would use this opportunity to look for Xinyan as well, but he didn't have anything to talk to her about. Xinyan wouldn't want to pick up his calls after 2 times, but Fan Ganha wouldn't give up every time. "Not these past 2 days." Xinyan shook her head. "But it's fine if you call me again. I'm not going to pick up. Right, you and Yao Yao seem to be getting along well?" This was also the question Lin Yi wanted to ask Xinyan. She seemed to be getting along well with Meng Yao the other day, so Lin Yi was wondering what the two were talking about. "Yao Yao's a good person. Maybe there was some misunderstanding between us before, but now that I've explained everything's fine." Xinyan naturally wouldn't tell Lin Yi what Meng Yao told her. It'd be too embarrassing. "Is that so?" Seeing that Xinyan didn't want to talk about it, Lin Yi didn't ask. After a while, Panhu Right brought the yellow-haired and purple-haired boys into the classroom with a depressed look on their faces. He looked at Lin Yi hatefully before sitting down in his seat. Looking at Han Jingjing fiddling with the two cauldrons not far away, Yu Coiling Tiger became more and more certain that Lin must have asked for these cauldrons for Han Jingjing, and the introductory mental cultivation method and the alchemy fire condensation chant were also given to Han Jingjing from Boss Bai. Perhaps Lin Yi didn't want to share his art with others, so he asked for a common one from Boss Bai. Coincidentally, he thought that it was something good and gave Han Jingjing two cauldrons for free. Not long after Panhu Right came, Boss Bai came as well, starting today's class at noon. Not long after class, Lin Yi's phone rang. Lin Yi picked it up and saw that it was Han Xiaopa's number. Hello? Han Xiaopa? Lin Yi picked up the phone. Senior Lin, it's me. Han Xiaopa said, you received the message from before, right? I've prepared the color steel. Yes, Lin Yi said. Han Xiaopa said that he would give the color steel the next day, but because Lin Yi was busy with Su Shirhan, he didn't have much time to see Han Xiaopa. Han Xiaopa, on the other hand, somehow got the news that Lin Yi invited Su Shirhan to perform. So he sent a message to tell Lin Yi to attend to the freshman party first, and come find Lin Yi after it was over. And, Senior Lin, congratulations on getting first place in the freshman party, Han Xiaopa said with a smile. You know about it? Lin Yi was puzzled when he heard that Han Xiaopa seemed to be very familiar with Lin Yi's things. Hee, it's like this. Our hidden Han family has a few distant relatives studying at Donghai Industry University. I was able to get some information from them. Han Xiaopa didn't hide it. I see. Lin Yi wasn't surprised at all. Even Panhu Right came to school here, and it was normal for someone from the hidden house to come here as well. To put it bluntly, the hidden houses were still people. While some of the top masters were in isolation and focused on training, there were still many disciples who came out to train and learn in the common world. Senior Lin, are you free at noon? I'm at the entrance of Donghai Industry University right now. I've brought the color steel. Han Xiaopa said. I'm free at noon. Where are you? Lin Yi asked. I'm at the school entrance. I didn't want to disturb Senior Lin's class, so I didn't text or call in advance. Han Xiaopa said. Okay, wait for me at the school entrance. Lin Yi said. Lin Yi hung up the phone and said goodbye to Bai Weiduo before leaving. Otherwise, everyone would go to the cafeteria for lunch every day. At the school entrance, Lin Yi saw Han Xiaopa from afar. Han Xiaopa was very low-key today. He didn't bring anyone with him, and he drove a Mercedes S600 instead of a sports car. Chapter 2050. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. Senior Lin, I've already booked a table at Donghai's Northern Ice Seafood Restaurant. I hope you'll do me the honor, Han Xiaopa said, as he made a gesture of invitation and opened the door of the Mercedes S600. Let's go. Lin Yi sighed. Lin Yi wasn't really interested in food, but if Xiao Xiao were here, it would be a good choice to bring her along. The food here was really good, and the ingredients were fresh too. Xiao Xiao would definitely like it. This time, Han Xiaopa was the driver himself. After getting in the car, they went straight to Northern Ice Seafood Restaurant. This was Lin Yi's second time here, and there were still a lot of luxury cars parked in front of the restaurant. Han Xiaopa's Mercedes S600 didn't stand out at all. There were Bentleys, Rolls-Royces, and all sorts of sports cars. But while Han Xiaopa's car wasn't particularly outstanding, he was warmly welcomed as soon as he walked in. Even the manager came running over. Master Han, you're here? Han Xiaopa nodded and said, This is the honored guest. Welcome. Welcome to the Northern Ice Seafood Restaurant. 2 esteemed guests, please enter the elevator. The private room is already prepared. Today, I will personally serve the 2 esteemed guests. The lobby manager quickly said. The hidden Han family that Han Xiaopa was the weakest hidden family in East Ocean City. Aside from the hidden Zhao family, the hidden Han family was the most powerful family in East Ocean City. Therefore, the managers and waiters of the restaurants didn't dare to slight them. "Mister, you look familiar. Have you been to our restaurant before?" The manager saw that Linny looked familiar, so he asked while they were in the elevator. "Yeah, I came here with a friend a couple of days ago, but the prices here are too high. My friend got ripped off." Lin E smiled. "Ah." The manager paused. He didn't know who Lin E was, but he knew who Han Xiaopa was. How could the hidden house not have money? Han Xiaopa drove a Mercedes S600 because he wanted to keep a low profile, but when Lin E said that the prices here were too high, the manager didn't know what to say, but he reacted quickly. "Haha, it's a bit high. I'll give you a 50% discount." "No need for that." Han Xiaopa waved his hand and said, "Go get a VIP card for Senior Lin. In the future, when he comes here, he'll be free of charge. As long as Senior Lin signs the bill, the amount will be on me. I'll settle it at the end of the year." The hidden house Han didn't care about this small amount of money at all. House Han was rich and had treasures, but they didn't have a strong person in charge. That was why the other hidden houses were coveting and bullying them. If they could get Lin E closer to the hidden house Han, then this small amount of money wouldn't be a problem at all. Even if it was a bit more, the hidden house Hans could afford it. Okay. The manager was even more shocked. It seemed that this person called Master Lin was someone that even the hidden house Hans couldn't afford to offend. The hidden house probably had a favor to ask of him. So the manager quickly nodded. "I'll get someone to get it done in a bit. Not only can Master Lin's VIP card be used for spending, but you can also enjoy the highest VIP treatment in the future, 30% off, and you can enjoy the best VIP treatment in the private room. Okay, go ahead. Deposit 10 million in Master Lin's card. I'll swipe it when I pay." Han Xiaopa said calmly. Lin E didn't refuse. The more Han Xiaopa tried to please him, the more it showed how important the upcoming Hidden House Summit was to the Hidden House Hans, especially the ranking at the summit. So seeing Han Xiaopa's attitude, Lin E decided to help them a bit more. Anyway, Han Xiaopa said that they wouldn't want the treasures they won at the summit. They would give them all to Lin E as a reward. In other words, the more Lin E won, the more treasures he would get. The private room this time was completely different from the private room Zhang Duopan used last time. The private room this time was as gorgeous as a palace, like a crystal palace, while the private room Zhang Duopan used last time could only be considered ordinary. This place couldn't be any more luxurious. It was even more luxurious than the Starlight Hotel in Songshan. Not only was the private room shockingly large, but the decorations were also exceptionally exquisite. There were all kinds of antiques and paintings of famous people everywhere. Even if they were fakes, they were still top-notch works. It was a great enjoyment to be able to admire famous people's paintings while eating. It seemed that this kind of private room could only be used by VIPs like Han Xiaopa. Ordinary customers with lower spending would never be invited to a private room of this level. "The dishes are ready. Shall we serve them now?" The lobby manager invited the two into the private room and asked carefully, "Senior Lin, what do you think?" Han Xiaopa didn't make the decision. Instead, he asked for Lin Yi's opinion. "It's time to eat. Let's serve the dishes. We'll talk while eating." Lin Yi nodded and said, "Did you hear that? Serve the dishes now." Han Xiaopa said to the lobby manager, "Okay, I'll go and tell them now." The lobby manager nodded and left the private room to prepare. At this time, only Lin Yi and Han Xiaopa were left in the private room. Han Xiaopa smiled and took out a small box from his pocket. He pushed it in front of Lin Yi and said, "Senior Lin, please check if this is the colored steel you need." "Oh." Lin Yi nodded and reached out to take the small box. He thought to himself that Han Xiaopa was indeed trustworthy. He hadn't even helped them hide the Han family from the competition, but he had already taken out the reward. Moreover, it didn't matter if they won or lost. Lin, he opened the small box. What he saw was a colorful metal material about the size of a quail egg. It looked like a piece of iron that had been sprayed with camouflage paint. However, according to Lin Yi's observation, this was definitely not a piece of iron that had been sprayed with paint. It was a naturally colored metal. Jiao Lao, is this colored steel? Lin Yi's expression didn't change. He pretended to observe the colored steel, but in his heart, he asked Jiao Yazi, "That's right, young Lin, this is indeed colored steel." Jiao Lao's voice sounded in Lin Yi's ear. "However, this piece is too small. Colored steel is the main material among the three materials needed to expand the space in the jade pendant. It also requires the most amount. With such a small piece, the space for refining won't be too big." Chapter 2051. Yes, Senior Lin, the Han family only has this small piece left. Han Xiaopa said, "This thing is useless to the hidden Han family. I heard that it's a supplementary material that only the legendary blacksmiths and high-ranked alchemists can use. The hidden Han family doesn't have any alchemists or blacksmiths, so it's useless even if we have it. We definitely won't keep it." "I believe you." Lin Yi nodded. Since Han Xiaopa was able to give Lin Yi all the prizes, he must have put in a lot of effort. If there was more of this kind of colored steel, he wouldn't have kept it for himself. If Lin Yi found out about it, there would definitely be a crack in their relationship. At least, Lin Yi could see that the hidden Han family was trying to rope him in. As long as the hidden Han family's head wasn't stupid, he wouldn't do something so stupid. "Senior Lin, is this colored steel not enough?" Han Xiaopa asked. "Yes, it's a little less." Lin Yi said lightly, "Do you have more?" "That's hard to say. The hidden Han family doesn't have it anymore, but the other hidden families might have it," Han Xiaopa said, "because this thing isn't very useful to the hidden families. It's of little value, so we haven't asked around before." Lin Yi nodded and asked, "That means this thing isn't very rare, but it's not very useful to the families, right? What would an alchemist need this thing for?" "Exactly." Han Xiaopa nodded and said, "Although I don't know what Senior Lin needs this colored steel for. As far as I know, this thing can only be used by blacksmiths. As for alchemists, I heard that high-ranked alchemists can use it too. When they cast medicine cauldrons, they also need to add this colored steel." It turned out that casting medicine cauldrons also needed to add colored steel. No wonder the normal medicine cauldrons exploded as soon as they were used. Although the medicine cauldron Han Jingjing got from Right Coiling Tiger was made of copper, it was probably added with a special material like colored steel to make it usable for alchemists. So the colored steel I obtained can really be used to cast medicine cauldrons. Lin Yi nodded and said faintly. Lin Yi knew that if he used the hidden Han family to look for Kai steel, it would definitely arouse suspicion. Therefore, in order not to arouse suspicion, since Han Xiaopa said that Kai steel could be used to forge medicine cauldrons, Lin Yi directly pushed the blame onto medicine cauldrons. "Oh, from what Senior Lin said, you're an alchemist." Han Xiaopa's eyes lit up. "That's right, I am an alchemist." Lin Yi nodded and said, "I have obtained a secret manual for casting cauldrons. I'm ready to try casting a cauldron for myself, so I've been looking for a lot of colored steel. However, I didn't know that colored steel could be used to cast cauldrons. Now that you've confirmed it, it seems that my secret manual is not fake. So that's how it is." "I was wondering why Senior Lin was looking for this rare colored steel," Han Xiaopa said, "but this colored steel can't be used by most people. However, during this Hidden House Summit, no one would intentionally use this thing as a treasure to bet, and the other forces wouldn't allow it either. After all, this thing isn't very useful to us. Then how can I get more colored steel?" Lin Yi asked. Our hidden house Han can ask around on behalf of Senior Lin, but you'll have to rely on luck." Han Xiaopa said honestly, "I'm not sure if I can get more colored steel." After all, in the ranks of the hidden houses, the hidden house Han doesn't have much of a say. If we could stand at the level of the hidden house you, or even the hidden house Xiao that just had a sky class, it would be easy to go to other houses to look for colored steel. Lin Yi nodded. With House Han's current strength, asking them to go to other hidden houses to look for colored steel was like asking a tiger for its skin. If he could help the hidden Han family win a few more matches in this hidden house summit, then he might be able to raise the hidden Han family's status a little bit. But this increase would depend on the Han family's own connections. If he were to count on them to help him find out more about Kai Gang, who knew how long it would take. Is there no other way? Lin Yi asked, a little disappointed. I can't say that there isn't. Han Xiaopa hesitated. Other ways are just luck. Let's hear it, Lin Yi said. Sometimes having a way was better than having no way at all. One more way meant one more hope. Not long after the Hidden House Summit, there will be a cultivator's market. We can go there and take a look, Han Xiaopa said. Cultivator's market? What's that? Lin Yi asked, frowning. I'm guessing that Senior Lin probably doesn't know about the existence of the cultivator's market. That's why you brought it up. Looks like Senior Lin really doesn't know about it. Han Xiaopa nodded. Actually, our hidden house Han only found out about the cultivator's market in recent years. The cultivators who participate in the cultivator's market are all old cultivator families. There are also some lone cultivators who have masters to guide them. If other cultivators don't have masters to guide them, they won't be able to find it. Tell me about the cultivator's market. Lin Yi nodded. The cultivator's market, as the name suggests, is a place for cultivators to trade with each other. It's a small trade fair. There, cultivators can trade with each other. They can set up stalls to sell things they don't need, such as treasures, spiritual medicine, or cultivation manuals. They can sell them for money, or they can use them to exchange for things they need. Han Xiaopa explained, there are more lone cultivators there. Maybe we can find the other things that Kai Gang and Senior Lin need. So there really is a trade fair like this. Lin Yi suddenly understood, and his heart leaped with joy. With a trade fair like this, it would be much easier for him to find things in the future. And if Han Jingjing could concoct pills in the future, he could also concoct some pills to sell and exchange. It was a good way to go. Chapter 2052. I see. When will the Hidden House auction be held? Lin Yi asked. I'm not too sure about that. Our Hidden Han family isn't very well informed. We'll only receive news before the auction. But I heard that the Hidden Family Auction is organized by a few large hidden families. They'll send invitations when the time comes, Han Xiaopa said. If Senior Lin is interested, you can come with me. All right. Lin Yi nodded. Then keep an eye out for me. We'll go together. Don't worry, Senior Lin. I'll keep an eye out, Han Xiaopa said. As they spoke, there was a knock on the door. The waiter had come to deliver the dishes. The two of them stopped talking and waited for the waiter to bring the dishes to the table. After that, the manager gave them a few plates of fruits and a bottle of wine, as well as an ID card to Lin Yi. Only then did he leave the room and close the door. Senior Lin, please eat. Han Xiaopa made a gesture. Let's talk while we eat. It's just the two of us, and there's no outsiders. There's no rules. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was hungry. He picked up his chopsticks without hesitation. Tell me first, when will the Hidden House Summit be held? What do I need to prepare? All right, Senior Lin. Han Xiaopa nodded and picked up his chopsticks to eat with Lin Yi. He said as he ate, the Hidden House Summit will be held on the 15th of this month. The location hasn't been announced yet, but this year's Hidden House Summit will be held in Donghai City if nothing goes wrong. The host of the Hidden House Summit is the Hidden House Xiao. Hidden House Xiao? Lin Yi's eyes flashed with a complicated look. This Hidden House Xiao could be considered as Lin Yi's enemy, but Zhao Chiquan was Lin Yi's follower. Yes, Actually, this Hidden House Summit is a little different from the previous ones. It's obvious that a few powerful hidden houses are working together to divide up the treasures our hidden Han family has found in the ancient ruins. Han Xiaopa said angrily, they can't take it openly because of the rules, so they're finding all sorts of excuses to force us to give them some of the treasures. The weak are prey to the strong. That's the rule in the world of practitioners. Linny wasn't surprised. It wasn't that the hidden houses were unreasonable. The world of practitioners was a dog-eat-dog world. If you weren't strong enough, who could you blame? Lin Yi went to house and injured and Jianda broke Jiang Wen's leg and demanded a huge amount of compensation. All of this was because Lin Yi was strong enough, breaking Zhao Qibing's leg multiple times, blowing up his building, crippling Uncle Zhu. This was all because Lin Yi was strong. Otherwise, Lin Yi would have died many times already. Of course I know that. Han Xiaopa smiled bitterly. But even though we're not strong enough, and we're prepared to pay a huge price, we don't want to lose too badly. Otherwise, we'd lose all our face in the hidden houses. That's why we want to invite you, Senior Lin. Even if we only win one match, it'll still give us some face. Ha, what if we win a few more? Linny asked. No matter how many matches we win, the bets will belong to you, Senior Lin. Han Xiaopa's eyes lit up, and he said, moreover, our hidden Han family's wager will belong to Senior Lin. Apart from that, Senior Lin can also take a few more treasures from our hidden Han family's treasure vault. You can also state some other conditions. Let's see what the competition is about. Lin Yi knew that Han Xiaopa's offer was tempting, but Lin Yi had to have the strength to get it. Lin Yi naturally wouldn't do something dangerous and suicidal. For those treasures, Lin Yi didn't want to lose his life. Helping House Han was just a matter of convenience. Han Xiaopa's performance from start to finish wasn't bad, but Lin Yi didn't have much of a relationship with the hidden house. All he did was take a piece of colored steel from them. As long as he helped them win the race, he wouldn't owe them anything. As for the rest, Lin Yi would act according to the situation. He wouldn't act blindly. I haven't received the details of the competition yet. We'll know when we get there. Han Xiaopa said, but according to previous competitions, there will definitely be racing, reflexes, and martial arts. Racing is 100%. It's an important competition to train the coordination of the practitioner's hands, feet, and brain. Racing, Lin Yi smiled. I see that your driving skills aren't bad. Are they so sure they can beat you? My methods really aren't much. Han Xiaopa couldn't help but shake his head, a bitter expression on his face. I wonder if Senior Lin has heard of the hidden house Zhao. Han Xiaopa had received news that Lin Yi and the hidden Zhao family weren't on good terms, and that the hidden Zhao family had sent Zhao Guang'er to kill Lin Yi last time, only to be killed by Lin Yi. However, it wasn't a good idea to say it out loud. The hidden Zhao family? Lin Yi picked up the glass of red wine in front of him and took a sip. He sneered. Do they have a racing expert? That's right. Han Xiaopa nodded. I heard that the hidden Zhao family took in an illegitimate son. His training isn't that great, but he's very good at racing. His racing skills are already quite good, and he was taken in as a disciple by Elder Bai, a master of House Zhao. He's been training him to become a practitioner, and his coordination with his hands, feet, and brain has improved a lot. He's most likely going to win this race. Of course, that's if Senior Lin doesn't do anything. Cough, cough. Lin Yi was drinking his red wine when he heard Han Xiaopa's words. He spat it out. You're talking about Zhao Qibing? Yes, that's Zhao Qibing. Han Xiaopa nodded. Do you know him, Senior Lin? Of course. How could I not? Lin Yi smiled. That guy and I are enemies, but he's never had a good time in my hands. How did he become a racing expert? Chapter 2053. Lin Yi was speechless after hearing Han Xiaopa's introduction. He didn't think that this Zhao Qibing was a racer. As well, Lin Yi was very surprised. He thought that this guy was a good-for-nothing. I don't see him participating in any races here. Lin Yi said, "That's true, according to our information. Zhao Qibing has been trying to get the Hidden House Zhao's approval ever since he came back. So naturally he wouldn't be racing anymore. Wouldn't he be no different from the spoiled brat he used to be? He's been trying to make some achievements to get the Hidden House Zhao's approval. But who would have thought that no matter what he did, he would fail and be accepted by the Hidden House Zhao, bringing him back to his family?" Han Xiaopa said, "But we, the Hidden House Han, don't know the reason, and we didn't investigate it. Hidden House Han and Hidden House Zhao were both hidden practitioner houses in Donghai. So naturally they paid more attention to each other's movements than other houses, but there were some secrets that they couldn't find out. Who would have thought that Zhao Qibing had this kind of ability?" Lin Yi was very shocked. "To be honest, I didn't know that this guy didn't even drive in Song's Han. Man, I heard that he offended someone and got his legs broken a couple of times. How would he have the chance to drive? His legs are pretty good now," Han Xiaopa said. "So I saw Senior Lin's driving skills on the freeway, and I think that only Senior Lin can win against that Zhao Qibing." Lin Yi was speechless. "I was the one who broke his legs. But you seem to say that he's pretty strong. Should I find an excuse to break his legs again during the race? That way he won't be able to drive." Han Xiaopa took in a cold breath. This Lin Yi Sr. was really ruthless, wanting to break Zhao Qibing's legs. However, Han Xiaopa explained, "Senior Lin, you absolutely can't do that. The greatest taboo in the Hidden House Summit is for participants to fight in private. If there are people who cause trouble, the first person to cause trouble will be disqualified. So, this won't work." "I see." Lin Yi nodded. But if it was before the competition, Lin Yi wouldn't have the chance to meet Zhao Qibing. This guy was hiding in the Hidden House Zhao, and Lin Yi couldn't possibly go to the Hidden House Zhao, could he? That's right, so it's better for Senior Lin to bring out his true strength. However, in my opinion, Senior Lin will definitely be able to defeat him. Han Xiaopa said, "Oh, then let's do our best." Lin Yi nodded and said, "The Hidden House Summit is in the middle of this month. That's only a few days away. Can I bring my own car for the race? Or must I use the car provided by the organizers?" "This is what I want to say next." Han Xiaopa said, "You must use the car provided by the organizer. You are not allowed to bring your own car." Which of these hidden aristocratic families didn't have any connections? It's easy to modify a car, and it's even possible to modify a car into a plane. So, for the sake of fairness, we have to use the cars provided by the organizers to participate in the competition. Every car is fresh from the factory, so it's the same as new. "Oh, then what car will be provided this time?" Lin Yi asked. This rule was fair, but in reality, it wasn't fair at all. If they purposely chose a car that Zhao Qibing was good at, even if it was a new car that hadn't been modified, he would still have an advantage over the others. Just as Han Xiaopa said, the Hidden House Summit was aimed at the Hidden House Han, so this race was probably already decided to be the Hidden House Zhao's winner. This way, the car selection would definitely be beneficial to Zhao Qibing. This car... After saying that, Han Xiaopa hesitated for a moment. Originally, the model of this car would only be known 2 days before the competition. However, our Han family has spies and informants. We found out that the Hidden Zhao family had purchased a batch of cars, but what? Lin Yi asked. But this car... Han Xiaopa hesitated. This car is the most common Jetta. I don't know what House Zhao is trying to do, or are they trying to confuse us, or something, but I heard that House Zhao has been planning to enter the taxi business for a long time. Maybe after the cars are used up, they can just use it as a taxi business, and they can save a lot of money. After all, House Zhao isn't that rich. They're far from our Hidden House Han. Lin Yi nodded. If that Zhao Qibing is really good at racing, then the more ordinary the car is, the better the gap will be. The Jetta might be the car for this competition, but your hidden house Han is quite rich, isn't it? Of course, in the ancient ruins we found, not only were there a lot of treasures for training, but there was also a lot of gold and silver, enough for us to spend for a few generations. It's fine, even if we don't find a way to earn money in these few generations. Han Xiaopa said. Grandpa said that now is the time for House Han to stabilize its position as a hidden house, not the time for development, stabilizing the hidden house's name and increasing our strength. Only then can we research and develop, and our generation doesn't need to research about earning money. What you're doing is right. House Xiao is only using Zhao Qibing to test the waters to earn money in the common world. Your hidden house Han's foundation is still too shallow. Lin Yi agreed, but a few generations is a bit long. Make good use of this opportunity. Your generation might bring glory to the hidden house of Han. Lin Yi's eyes were no longer limited to the few noble houses in the common world. Lin Yi had basically settled all the noble houses in the common world. And Lin Yi was now looking at the hidden houses. Hidden House Zhao and Hidden House Yu both had Lin Yi's underlings. If he could pull Hidden House Han down, then Lin Yi would have more power in the Hidden House level. Only by combining all these forces would Lin Yi have the right to speak with the ancient sects and ancient noble houses on equal footing. Otherwise, even if Lin Yi became a sky class master, he wouldn't be able to make the ancient sects and ancient noble houses fear him. Because Lin Yi was only one person without a force behind him, he couldn't always guarantee the safety of his family and friends. Chapter 2054. If he accepted it, then Hidden House Han might very well become one of the hidden houses, just like Lin Yi had said. After all, Han Xiaopa had some understanding of Lin Yi's past achievements. The common world's cultivation houses that were on good terms with Lin Yi were all doing very well. Those who were enemies with Lin Yi were either gone or struggling. So what if he had the hidden house's support? The common world house Yu was still destroyed, and the common world Xiao family and Kong family weren't doing too well either. This was all thanks to Lin Yi, who asked them to go against Lin Yi. However, Han Xiaopa wasn't the young master of Hidden House Han. There were some things that he couldn't decide, so he was in a difficult position. From his point of view, if Hidden House Han stood by Lin Yi's side, then it would be more beneficial than harmful. However, this was only his opinion. He wasn't sure how his grandfather saw it. However, there was only one chance. If he rejected it now, then Lin Yi wouldn't help Hidden House Han anymore in the future. After this Hidden House summit, their relationship would fade away. Senior Lin, Hidden House Han has a lot of cultivation materials and treasures, but I lack a master to guide me in my cultivation. Han Xiaopa made up his mind in an instant. Since he couldn't decide on the Hidden Han family's attitude, he could decide on his own. Hence, he immediately said, if Senior Lin doesn't mind, please accept me as your disciple. Please guide me on the path of cultivation. Han Xiaopa's reaction was out of Lin Yi's expectation. What Lin Yi didn't expect was that Han Xiaopa would ask to be his disciple right away. Lin Yi really didn't know what to say. Seeing that Lin Yi didn't say anything, Han Xiaopa thought that Lin wasn't satisfied with his attitude, but he could only smile bitterly and explain, Senior Lin, although I'm a direct descendant of Hidden House Han, I can't make decisions in the Hidden House. I can't make the entire Hidden House listen to Senior Lin right now. However, I swear that one day, if I can become the head of Hidden House Han, I will follow Senior Lin's lead. Lin Yi nodded. You want me to be your disciple? Yes. Hidden House Han has the support of ancient ruins, but I don't have a master to guide me on the path of cultivation. I'm completely blind. Han Xiaopa didn't hide anything. Your disciple is only at the middle phase of the golden class right now. Your disciple knows that this level of strength isn't enough to catch Senior Lin's eye, But even this level of strength was forcefully increased by consuming the soul-gathering pill. Soul-gathering pill? Lin Yi had heard of this before. Most of the disciples of the hidden houses had used this to increase their strength. Yu Bing was the same. Lin Yi couldn't help but sigh. Even the weakest disciple of the hidden house had such a good thing to use. Lin Yi, had to train himself bit by bit to break through. You really can't compare yourself to others. Although he was already in Earth class, when he thought back to when he was a golden class, how hard was it to break through to the mystic class? But mystic class was a common thing among the disciples of the hidden houses. Yes, in the ancient ruins we found some soul-gathering pills and soul-gathering pills. The soul-gathering pills were all used by the elders, so they have the strength of mystic class. As for us, the third-generation disciples, we only got the soul-gathering pills. I'm considered quite talented, using only 3 soul-gathering pills to reach the middle phase of the golden class. Han Xiaopa smiled bitterly. But there aren't many soul-gathering pills and soul-gathering pills left, and the hidden house, he doesn't want to sell them to us. So I'm worried about the future of cultivation. Never mind, I don't have plans to take in disciples at this age. But if you're willing, I can take you in as a follower. Lin Yi said, but your loyalty still needs to be tested. Thank you, Senior Lin. Han Xiaopa heard Lin Yi's words and quickly stood up. He cupped his fists. Boss, please accept this little brother's bow. With that, Han Xiaopa bowed respectfully to Lin Yi. You're a quick one, taking advantage of the situation. You stood up as soon as I finished speaking. Lin Yi smiled faintly and waved his hand. But anyone can say nice things. It depends on your performance in the future. I'm taking a follower not because of your personal strength, but because of your loyalty. Senior Lin. No, Boss Lin, I'm the most loyal. I promise to listen to your orders. Han Xiaopa quickly said. Since you're loyal, then I can give you strength. Lin Yi said, didn't you want to become my disciple to increase your strength? But my follower will receive the same treatment. I believe that your hidden Han family has already investigated my situation and knows about the situation of my brothers. You should have seen their strength in the past and present. I see. Han Xiaopa really did investigate the situation around Lin Yi, but the entire hidden house Han was very puzzled. How did Lin Yi's followers, including Lin Yi's woman, suddenly increase in strength? At first, many of them were early phase golden class masters. Now, they're at peak late phase mystic class. It was unbelievable. Of course, although they were puzzled, they couldn't figure out what was going on. It wasn't until Lin Yi said it that Han Xiaopa realized that it was all thanks to Lin Yi. Thinking that he could increase his strength, Han Xiaopa's heart was filled with joy. Wasn't this what he'd been chasing after? If he could increase his strength, even if it was only to peak late phase golden class, then the family would give him 20 soul-gathering pills to help him break through golden class to mystic class. That way, Han Xiaopa's strength would be far ahead of the other 3 generations of the hidden house Han. The position of the 3rd generation young master would belong to him. Boss, I swear to the heavens that I'll only listen to you for the rest of my life. If I break this oath, then I'll lose all my strength and never be able to cultivate again. I'll become a cripple. Han Xiaopa immediately swore to the heavens. Lin Yi didn't really believe in oaths. In the face of absolute strength, oaths were a joke. But Han Xiaopa's oath was quite vicious. Losing all his strength and never being able to cultivate again was a nightmare for a practitioner. Normally, a practitioner with a bit of integrity wouldn't make such an oath. Han Xiaopa said this to express his sincerity to Lin Yi. Chapter 2055. Han Xiaopa didn't know how to answer Lin Yi's question. He had given everything he could to Lin Yi, and Lin Yi only needed the colored steel. If he didn't ask for anything else, Hans Xiaopa wouldn't be able to prove his sincerity. But after some hesitation, Hans Xiaopa raised his head. Boss, I don't know how to prove it. Please tell me. Forget it. A long journey tests a horse's stamina, and time reveals a man's heart. If you're really a reliable person, I won't be stingy and help you increase your strength. But if you're a hypocrite, then forget it. Lin said, That's Boss Lin. It's not that I'm in a rush or that I don't want to prove myself to you, but I have an idea. Han Xiaopa said after some hesitation. There's another event in the Hidden House Summit. It's a duo battle. If I can increase my strength, then I can go up there with you. Boss, with your strength, you'll definitely be able to win, and I'll just stay on the sidelines and protect myself. Oh, this duo battle requires 2 people to go up there? Can't one person do it? Lin Yi asked. No, it has to be 2 people. Plus, if one of the 2 in the team is knocked down, the team loses. So, no matter how strong the boss is, the follower is too weak. If he gets knocked down first, he'll still lose. Han Xiaopa explained. I see. Lin Yi frowned and went into deep thought. To be honest, Lin Yi had a good eye for people. This Han Xiaopa shouldn't have any ulterior motives towards him. But even so, Lin Yi didn't want to give him any benefits directly. Whether it was Chen Yuqian, Wu Qintian, or Ling Shan, they had all been friends for a long time, and Lin Yi had just helped them level up. As for his new follower, Zhao Qikun, it had been so long since Lin Yi had helped him level up, and it didn't make sense for him to do it for Han Xiaopa first. However, if there really was such an event in the competition that required 2 people to cooperate, then Han Xiaopa's low strength would definitely affect his results. By the way, Boss, you mentioned earlier that you're an alchemist? Han Xiaopa took a deep breath and suddenly thought of a good way to defect. That's right. Why do you ask? Lin Yi nodded. Then, Boss, do you know about the qi gathering pill? Han Xiaopa asked in a low voice. Qi gathering pills? Lin Yi narrowed his eyes and looked at Han Xiaopa. Why did you suddenly bring this up? Boss, I won't hide it from you. Our Hidden Han family found a few sets of materials used to refine qi gathering pills in the ancient ruins. This has always been our Hidden Han family's greatest secret. Only the core disciples know about it, and they were strictly forbidden from spreading it. Han Xiaopa said solemnly, Boss, you should know that this qi gathering pill might not mean much to ancient sects, but to hidden sects like us, it is something that we would fight over even if we had to break our heads to obtain. Han Xiaopa's words made Lin Yi nod. That's right. In the eyes of the hidden families and normal sects, the qi gathering pill is a priceless treasure. Boss, if you can help me increase my strength and continue to protect our Hidden Han family, I'm willing to convince my grandfather to give you the materials to refine the qi gathering pill. Han Xiaopa said. Consider this a big gift from me, Han Xiaopa, to Boss. This is our Hidden Han family's secret. Now that I've told you about it, it more or less shows my sincerity. If news of this gets out, our Hidden Han family will be robbed or even exterminated. Robbed? Exterminated? Not necessarily, right? Although the qi gathering pill is precious, if you only have the materials to refine it, the hidden families won't be able to refine it even if they take it away, right? Alchemists are very rare, and the alchemists of the hidden families are at most first rank. Only the hidden house of the right has a high-rank alchemist. But to refine a third-rank pill, like the qi gathering pill, you'd need at least a fourth-rank alchemist. As far as I know, only the Sky Elixir School has such an expert, right? Lin Yi asked calmly. Boss, it seems that you still don't know much about the Sky Elixir School. Us hidden families can actually ask them to refine pills. Every time we refine a pill, we just need to provide more materials. No matter how many pills we refine, the Sky Elixir School will take half as a reward. If we only refine one pill, then we're out of luck, and the Sky Elixir School will take it for themselves. Han Xiaopa said, Oh, the Sky Elixir School has such a rule? Then why don't you ask them to refine pills? Lin Yi asked Curiously, boss, the Sky Elixir School has this rule, but it's only for those houses that have a relationship with them. If you don't have a relationship with them, even if you ask them, they might not help you. Hans Schaupes smiled bitterly. Plus, even if we ask them to refine pills for us, with the Hidden House Han's current strength, would they be able to keep the pills? They can't even keep the materials, let alone the pills. Hans Schaupes' words enlightened Lin. It was true. Back then, Bossu was willing to enter an ancient tomb filled with traps just for a chi-gathering pill. It was enough to show how precious the pill was. If the Hidden House Han managed to make the pill, then they might really be wiped out. The materials for the chi-gathering pill were extremely rare, and with the Hidden House's current strength, it would be hard for them to gather all of them. The ancient sects could gather them, but because of the drawbacks of the chi-gathering pill, no one would refine it. However, the Sky Elixir School wouldn't reject a request from a hidden house like this. The reward they received, even if they sold it, could be exchanged for countless treasures or money. But I'm curious, are you really willing to give me the materials for the chi-gathering pill, or would your grandpa agree to your suggestion? Lin Yi looked at Hans Schaupes strangely. An innocent man gets into trouble because of his treasures. This thing in our hidden house, Han, we either keep it hidden and never see the light of day, or we'll get into trouble if we take it out. Hans Schaupes said, with the current development of our hidden house, Han, we won't be able to have an Earth-class late-phase peak or Sky-class for a few generations. As long as there isn't a Sky-class in our house, we wouldn't dare take the materials out. Unless there's an Earth-class late-phase peak who uses it directly after making the pill, but that's risky as well. Without absolute confidence, we wouldn't ask someone to make us a pill. That you're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.